Good evening, one and all. It is Thursday. It's not quite the end of the week, but it is the end of the streams of the week, if you're not counting Sunday. I don't know how we're going to segue that one, so let's just get straight into Warframe, shall we? Welcome in, one and all. Hope you're doing well where you are around the world today. Yes, to clear up some confusion, because apparently there is somehow some confusion. First of all,
Kingi, hi.
hello, Andrew. Thank you very much for resubscribing up onto 46 months. Much appreciated, absolutely. Yeah, so for anyone who was somehow confused by the pinned message on the stream yesterday that said, I'll be streaming today and not tomorrow, I'm streaming today and not tomorrow. Yeah, I don't know how that confused anyone, I'll be quite honest. So, welcome! Yeah, I'm not available to stream tomorrow evening, which is why I'm streaming today. That's the entirety of it. From Piano, good evening, Mr. Streamer. Are we flowing through the duality of light and dark today? Perhaps a little spiraling into the unknown of the double helix of time. Not sure what time has anything to do with this, really. It's all just night and day to me. But it's gonna be Equinox, that's for certain. She is the frame of focus today. Fun fact. Also, I like this. Thank you very much for dropping your prime here. Once again, up onto 3 months. Much appreciated. And to follow it up...
Button.
We have a Miracle Raven with a button up onto 7 months. My word, we just had 3 back-to-back subs there. Not even a message in between them. Cheers indeed on that, all 3 of you there. Cheers indeed. So I was going to say, fun fact on Equinox. Technically speaking, an Equinox video is the first ever frame-specific video I put out on the channel. Technically speaking. It's, I'm fairly certain I unlisted it. If not, I probably should have by now because... Ooh. But hey, you know, you explore, you try things, you find what works for you, and that did not work for me. Oh, no, that one's still public. Cool. Well, I mentioned that, didn't I? Anyway, so yeah. Terrible excuse of a video, and we're going to do better than that today. And apparently, Andrew has not yet satisfied themselves. They need to support the channel any further with 5 gifted subs out to the community on top of their own subscription. Andrew, thank you very much for that there, actually. Thank you indeed. That's gone out to Kimmy, to Ray of Sunshine. That took me a moment to read, but that I see it there. That is a very a tragedy name, but Ray of Sunshine it is. To Rubio Faye, to Count Stinger, and to Tartelparian, who I'm fairly certain I just butchered the name of. All the same, thank you very much, Andrew, for those gifted subs there. Cheers indeed. Alrighty tatey. So with Equinox, we have had a look at her in the past here or there, but you know, there's been a lot of changes. They've changed hit point formulas and whatnot, and we definitely just need to revisit the options as they exist. To see even if team kill still works, which I'm fairly certain it probably does, but we'll be verifying that shortly. Not right this millisecond. Yes, this has been made weaker by an Archon shard. Yes, so I'll need to revisit various bits and pieces like that. Ladybug say Equinox is the frame my sibling used to show me how ridiculous the game gets. Yeah, that'll do it. You see an Equinox in like a level 1 mission, you feel like Equinox is God's greatest gift to damage, and then you discover a level 15 mission and you go, wait, what's an Equinox? Little exaggeration, but it feels like that. From Piano, have I ever considered doing mildly over-dramatized narrations for what it was like trying to test some silly mechanical number? What do you think my live streams are? Yeah, the slightly silly, over-dramatized moments are literally my existence here on stream. Basically. And so, with that thought, let's get cracking into these bits and pieces. Now, first things first, I opened up this earlier, just moments before the stream, I'll be honest, and I saw Smite Shade Maim, and I had to think, there's been changes to Smite, so what's happened? Yo!
Golden Jubilee.
Oh my, it is a bit there, isn't it, Ray? Thank you very much for the 50 months in a total support of tier 3 right there. For those of you who may have missed that, tier 3 is not merely a tier 1 sub plus a bit, that is a big bit on top of that. So Ray, thank you very much for the continued Trinity tier supporting, much appreciated. Cheers indeed on that. Yeah, that is absolutely colossal right there, and it turns up on a golden sub badge as well, which I mean just fits it perfectly, right? Hope you liked post in T Lounge. Oh, did I miss that one? Or was oh wait, hang on. Was that your passive point out? Yeah. I don't agree with your mathematics on it, Ray, but you're doing a very specific thing, so I don't need to agree on it. It's your own personal assessment of passives. Yeah. Unbreakable say I've seen more pink sheep in Minecraft than Equinox in Warframe. I mean, there's a lot of pink sheep in Minecraft. But I get your point. I get your point. So this Smite-based one, I believe, was based on the idea of, well, using Smite to power up Maim, hence the naming convention there, and using Shade as the core defense of it. I'm guessing Prime Sure-Footed was necessary to protect myself from something? I don't know on that one. Maybe I just ran out of reasons to use a depolarity. Well, Smite has changed. It has gone from being a single target explodes with damage out to nearbys via particles to Smite explodes that target in particular with a radial damage. And that radial damage, I think, is actually a fair chunk less. But it does also remove overguard and defenses, so it could be interesting trying to make that work. What I'm also aware of is that the strength on it is now heavily capped, and so it can only go so far. So, also, wow, that range on it is disgusting. 117 meters. Hi, yes, you're on the other end of the football field. Perish. Not actually sure how long the football field is. I'm pretty sure it's more than 117 meters, but in any case, it is long. It is long. Billy said, by the way, watch your Melee Arcane video. Great breakdown, well thought out. Tried it like Vortex build, and got to change to 300 kills in Sim. Yeah, it does get a little bit ridiculous, doesn't it? Try it in actual missions, in particular on Void Survival. Void Survival is where it does particularly well, just because of the way the spawns work. So long as you are in an appropriate room for it, that the enemies just kind of pile onto themselves well enough. Yeah, it's disgusting. It is disgusting. And I can't take full credit for that one. Actually, I can only take like a 1/10 of a credit for that one. The rest of the credit does indeed go over to Mirrorlab for that one. Mirrorlab is our viewer who submitted that particular build that I amended slightly for the video's sake. Yeah. American football fields are just over 100 meters. Hey, well, there we go then. I do indeed have a football field smite on this Equinox. So, because the strength on it is capped, we can't take this above 50% of the quote-unquote additional damage there. We're already at 47.25. It does mean that it's not got the room to kill directly, but it does have the room to kill things around it. Potentially. It's a weird one, and it leaves me wondering if there may be another way to go about things. I figured if we got a couple viral procs onto a target, that additional damage is going to be lethal, but how to apply viral whilst using Shade's invisibility? And this is where I start to run out of answers, I'll be quite honest with you. Now, we can also get the strength bonus out of Pacify and Provoke here, and so that 27% will easily take this up to the full amount. So, honestly, at that point, we don't even need Molt Augmented, because the strength can't really go any further, aside from maybe more on the radial damage, and actually, now I think about it, radial damage is kind of important, so let's bring Augmented back. Maybe we do want that after all. Yeah, I don't have a lot of faith in this with the changes, but let's give it a try. Worst case scenario, it doesn't work, and then I just completely use the slot for something else. But best case scenario, it does work, and I get to celebrate, and why is there a mod missing? Now, we don't want duplex spawn, because I don't want enemies shooting at random companions going around. As much as companions can apply viral with Verglass and other weapons, that's a choice, but it's not the choice I want to go down. I'm certainly not spending 100 energy lots and lots, so... How many smites would you need to reliably clear rooms with Maim on Steel Path? Well, that's what we're going to find out, Villiers, isn't it? We are 10 minutes into the stream. Give us a moment. You're just going to have to wait and see on things which are on the live stream. What else could I go for that would otherwise be useful to us here? Corpuscular? That's not a thing that goes onto the companion here, no. But could put it onto Equinox. Problem with that is that, yeah, sure, it gives us the 30% strength whilst we're invisible. The weapon damage bonus, however, is going to be completely useless to us, you know, the critical damage. So we're just going to have to figure it out, aside from that, because just 30% only whilst the invis is working doesn't suit me great. Covert bond, finisher mercy kills, grand companion invis. No, that's the wrong way around on the covert. We don't want that. Honestly, not particularly sure there is a good answer for us here. Yeah, I can kind of see why there's a mod missing. What would I want here? Alright, well, if I don't have a good answer, then I don't need to force an answer in right now. We can leave it out. I have got Animal Instinct, the normal version in there. I can upgrade that to Prime, seeing as I've got no other mods that I want to slot in right now. And I suppose I could still find a lower cost mod of just some kind to fill into here. At the very least, I can use headshots to get my companion back a little quicker, if it really comes to it, I guess. Yeah. If it comes to it. So we'll go with that. I could just kind of exist. Okay, so with that all in mind, we're not going to be using the weapons. As we're not really using weapons, we're all focused on casting. Let's support the casting with some Zeneric. I know that Zeneric's not going to be that useful to us because we're going to be using a channeled ability more than anything, but we can still use it in a pinch. URS works like Shade? Yes, it does. The only downside with URS is that it can go running off and doing things. I do prefer a companion that doesn't run off doing things, causing problems. I prefer a companion that just stays with me. Just largely, yeah. How about Orange Shard, says Ree? Now that is a good thought. We run into a couple of separate issues on that, but let's walk through. So first of all is the slots then get taken up by all of that, so that is something to consider just in itself. But separately, if we go to these shards, either we get a full rack of them in at standard, that's plus 50%. If we get a full rack in Talforge, that's plus 75%. That's a lot, but if we are at the damage cap at 50%, and we add 75% onto that, we're still not killing the target. And because the damage is based on current hit points, we would first need to hit them, to apply the radiation, to then hit them again with something that still doesn't kill them. So we'll be investing a bunch into not actually getting where we need to go, is my problem there. Also, cheers, Wally. So yeah, I've looked at that one already, and unfortunately, just because of the way the damage is hamstrung, I don't think that's really going to work the way we want it to. I don't believe the radiation is applied to the enemies caught in the AoE, and so we wouldn't be applying shard damage to them neither. But let's just give this a try, see where it feels at the moment, and discover the issues and take it from there. That's the idea. Let's go with the good old classic of Adaro Exterminate. Just start there, see how bad it is, and work our way out of it. Rap, tap, tap. Cheers, Akka boy. Okie dokie. Let's just cast a couple buffs, why not? Cast another buff. There we go. And might as well get this active now. And then as we jump over this way, we should go invisible. Right as soon as my companion realizes it can make us invisible. Yep, there we go. We are ghosting. Whilst ever we are within proximity or have been for a few seconds, we can do this. So this is part of the issue with Rad Prox, is that it does, you know, activate the enemies. And that was not a very strong name. Yeah, these ones are actually holding on pretty fine there. So, the change to Smite, making it this relatively weak AoE, honestly I think has killed it. I'll be quite honest with you, I think it has killed it. Because it sure as hell didn't used to be this, bad. Now, we do have another ability we can use here. Day form damage vulnerability, 83%. If I can get that up to 100%, if I push to 200% strength, I might be able to then make it where individual targets are indeed fully obliterated. Oh god, we still got a survivor after all that. Yeah, you see, that was nearly lethal. So I'm going to dip out of here already because we spent a lot of energy doing not a lot. Now I see we have a new breakpoint to consider, getting to that 200% strength. And indeed, that crepuscular suggestion from earlier might come in as about the best way we can achieve that, given everything else. So, this is tying into where we can get our strength from, so we just need to factor that into how we achieve this. So we've got our crepuscular. With crepuscular, we're going to have that 30%, so we are at... Is this showing with the 30? No, it's not. That's fine. We've got 165 there. We've got the 10% coming in from our companion... Not companion, from our Archon Shard, don't forget. So 165 is our total. With then Provoke... Let's see... 1.65 times 20% base, was it? Yep, gives us 33% strength, which brings us to 198%. It's nearly there! Nearly! Like, genuinely just upgrading this shard I have to Tower Forged would do it. So, let's upgrade the shard to Tower Forged. I have them. Might as well use them. This does make the team kill build even less team kill. It's now just not team kill at all, but whatever. You just realize fighting Corrupted this way will suck if Smite is pure radiation damage? Yep. Yeah, I'll do it. The Corrupted will just tell you now on this one. And that's fine, it's not a build that's meant to work everywhere. Could also use Power Drift? You know what, you're right, we could have done that. Oh well. Well, someone who doesn't have the Archon Shard can do that. Okay, so this puts us over the line now. We should have that 200% strength, which means then that the combination of Rest and Rage and Smite will deal lethal damage. It's only 12.5 energy per target to do that. If we catch multiple in the Rage, then we effectively get a discount. So this is very, very doable. I think we can make this work. And with that one shot per combo, we then escalate into having decent enough damage to come out of main. Also, if we one-shot the targets, they won't be rad-procced, they'll be dead, so none of the other enemies will start firing shots everywhere. This is starting to feel like it can work. Without relying on, like, you know, constant operator buffs or Grimoire, that sort of stuff. I don't like using builds that rely on Grimoires and operators to hit breakpoints when we're casting so frequently, because keeping all of that up is just a lot of effort when, you know, you can just kind of wade in with any normal weapon and win. Yeah. For using this against the Corrupted or anything that is resistant to rad damage, if it takes off, was it 50%? You need to double your strength, and that's not going to happen, is it? Alright, so, no operator buffs, no nothing like that. Let's just get over here. Go invisible, please. There we are. Dude had absolutely no idea that even happened. I don't even know where dude is. Dude is... Oh, wait. That shape did not register as a person to me. They're completely unmoving, and they looked rusted. I just took that as a pipe and decoration. I didn't even realize I was a person. Let me turn my highlights back on, because apparently I am really bad at this game. Oh, look, an enemy! Wow! Yeah! Okay, let's, bop! Yep, we've got our 30-ish% provoke. That's all we need there. So now we go whap-bap, whap-bump. And you see this guy, he's annoyed, but he has no idea what to be annoyed at. Beautiful. So this does work. Now we can activate this. Yeah. Oops. Did not do the combo on him. There we go. Hello. Bap. Bap. Alright, so we have obtained a one-shot with Smite. That is good. Now... that damage was, not much. That damage was not much. So it turns out that armor is still, you know, armor. Bonk. Apply to these. Beautiful. I mean, at the very least, I do have just insta-kill setup, but I suppose it is at least slightly Equinox. No more of that, thank you, mate. God, this is loud to cast. It is not subtle. Oh shit, I'm visible. Shade, why have you forsaken me? There we are. So, a little weird going on there. Okay, right then. Oh god, shade is about to run out. There we are. Right. Yeah, gotta be careful about that shade thing. So, now, bonk. Yeah, that was a nice bit more damage. So yeah, it does take a fair chunk of investment to get a damaging maim, or you just need to find a good couple of Xmas units, because, you know, Xmas go better. There is a target that I left alive back here. Let's fix that real quick. Ah, yes, whilst I'm visible, I don't have the strength. The one-shot, of course. So this is the downside of Crepuscular. It relies on us being invisible, but we can't guarantee that invisibility whilst using it from a companion like this. I'm not close enough. Come on. Detect the enemies. I can see them. Why can't you see them? There we go. Right then. Where were we? Ah, yes. Bonk. 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 Ooh, hello. Invalid target. What do you mean invalid target? Wait, can I not? Oh! Oh, I can't actually affect these with it because they got overguard. Yeah, damn. That's mildly annoying. Anyway, those two have just popped. There's a guy hiding up there somewhere. I have no idea where. Oh, no. Don't lose my stats. There he is. Cannot use... I can't use Rest and Rage whilst on a zipline, but I can use Smite. Oh boy. Also, yes, this is some aggressively bloom frame, isn't it? Hello, yes, I am the precursor to Jade. I am light unholy. And we're gone. Alright then. Woo! Now, I'm also a little short on the energy here. Let's just go black. Yeah, there's a slight downside of Maim having a continuous energy drain. And Provoke having a energy tax on casting. Bear all that in mind. Yeah, we're not sure on the solutions in all this, but it's fine. Hi there, I'm gone. We cast, we blap, we get energy. It's a lovely little circuit. Bonk. Uh-oh. Bit of a distance to get to that one. No, my shade. Yeah, shade running out in 3 seconds is oof. And then it doesn't show you the cooldown to know when it's safe again. So I'm going to just step out. Oh, we're safe. Cool. Bombards. Vulnerable to the effect. You had not been raged. There we go. We've only got 770k. I would like something a little bit stronger. I believe I have found stronger. There we go, 1.8 million. Sneeze.
Soldier, you have been nominated. Your glory
You know what, I'm just gonna stab. There we are. That was a very special kind of stab, but it was a stab all the same. I will not be taking any suggestions otherwise. Start just kind of farming these lot out. One tap the Larvling, we love to see it. Yeah, even at nearly 600k damage, I don't think that's going to be enough to kill these lot. 600k only dealt 74 to this guy. Because of both armor and distance. Oh, hi Torment, this should be interesting. You appear to be immune to this ability. Yep, you are immune to rage as well. Why are multiple units immune to rage? Rage is a damage enhancing ability. Also, it's like immune to most of the damage of this. This is not doing the damage it claims it could deal. How much is it dealing? 24,000? Yeah, that's pathetic. Okay, so I've got a 1 million main blast. What's that going to do to you? Oh! Okay, well, main works on the Acolytes. That was unexpected. Not gonna lie. Of all the things to work on the Acolyte there, a 1 million damage main was not what I expected. Invis, thank you. But considering that I needed to charge that off of an Xmas unit, yeah, doesn't feel great. Bonk. Yeah, because this did not kill most of these units, and I can't really afford to armor strip them all one by one either. I mean, I don't have the room for such an ability. I'd need to use like a Naira at that point, and I said I explicitly did not want to bring in a whole bunch of operator nonsense. Yeah, Equinox is pretty farmable though. Equinox, Eximus. Eximus are pretty farmable by Equinox. But that is really about the extent of it. Taking quite a few of them there to get not an Xmas level of hit points. Yeah. Wonder if rest and rage doesn't apply because rest is crowd control? Maybe. Maybe, honestly. How do I get through this without popping invis? There we go. Okay, so technically that worked. Technically. But in the same way that if you bash your head against a wall long enough, so long as you don't die, the wall will eventually crumble. Can't say that's what I'm looking for. Yeah. Kind of janky, takes a bit of doing to pull off. Yeah, my issues are that armor gets in the way of the damage we're trying to deal. At the moment, we need the invis to be able to hit the strength breakpoint. I can look into maybe getting around that. And honestly, the output is just not that great in general. Because targeting enemies one by one to eventually generate a good enough maim is a bit... let's see, the rest of rage augment. Yeah, so that is peaceful propagation. Converts damage done to enemies into extra strength. Depends on if that counts our ability damage. And also, what do I take out to get there? I could take out Prime Footed, to be honest. We probably don't really need that. The polarities that Equinox comes with are not great. They are what they are. What do I use on the... Oh, that's not... Oh, okay, yeah. So that can't just become a D polarity. How is the previous version of Smite different? So it would target the enemy, deal some damage to them, but then a bunch of particles would shoot out from them, and those particles had damage based on the hit points of the enemy it came from. If there were no other enemies around, the particles would just turn around and come back and hit the person they came out of, which meant it was particularly great against catered to tame. Otherwise, yeah, you just have these concentrated particles of damage, so you target something high hit points, and the low hit point stuff around it would get blasted. Now it's set to a flat amount of damage, scaled off the enemy's hit points in an AoE, so you can't get concentrated nuclear hits. Yeah. Oh, Common Frenzy instead. Killing an infected enemy causes the effect to spread. So the spread on that is 11.75 meters, which sounds like a lot, except it isn't. It really isn't. 11.75 meters basically covers the group you already cast on, because, you know, radius of cast is 11.75 meters. So this only works to extend it to enemies that were slightly outside of the original group. And that's really not that far. I've never liked it for that reason. It just doesn't go far at all. If it was like Banshee's Sonar, which has a large radius to it, then by the time you get around to some targets, there should be new ones in that large radius. But this one, just not big enough in the first place to really make a difference. You will occasionally avoid having to do another cast here or there, which, yeah, has some value to it, but even then, the recasting of that isn't our big breakpoint. It's just not. But learning that we can't use this on Acolytes or overguarded units is a big letdown, because that's a big part of, you know, our damage enhancement. That doesn't feel too great. But yeah. Energy transfer is not relevant to us because we can't even switch forms. This is just a day form only build. Peaceful Propagation for the extra strength on it. I don't even know if that would apply the way we want it to apply. And Smite and Fusion we definitely don't need or want. So yeah, this is a tighter, tougher one than I imagined we'd be dealing with here. In terms of depolarity mods or anything that fits into there that'll do us some good, probably not. Lower the strength. We can get 15% strength there. And we can get Power Drift for 15% strength instead of Mobilize. And by doing that, we no longer need Crepuscular, because this will give us 34, plus the 170 we're currently at, puts us over the line for the one-shot. So at least we've achieved that much. There, Molly, welcome on in. Well, so you weren't kidding yesterday, Banshee Math went so much further than I knew. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. Alright, so... that armor increase. Why does that armor buff even exist? Who decided on the 25% armor on a Mars Hatred? At what point does anyone ever care about 25% armor? Look at this. Look at that. Reduces damage by health to health by 40%. Without it, it's 34.8. Who cares? There is not a game where that kind of difference actually matters enough to sing about, unless it's a PvP game, and this is not a PvP game. It's diabolically bad. 40% versus 34.8. So with our health at 465, we go from 465 divided by 1 minus 0.348. So we go from 713 effective health to 775. Wow, we can take not even 62 more damage because I rounded the first number. Like, what is the point of 25% armor on that? What is the point? Especially as it's additive to other armor buffs. I mean, I ask you. Ah. Yeah. Banshee's awesome, but the main problem is insane multiplicative damage stacking doesn't work with at all on any of the things you want it to. I'm not sure I agree on that per se, because it works on Banshee's core damaging ability. When it applies to the right spot, that is an if, but that's part of the design. Various other abilities, companion attacks can benefit from it. I think more the issue is just that you have to work with the ability a little bit too hard without spamming it out. And that's when it becomes a problem. Would this have been better if it's health instead of armor? Honestly, it would be better if it just tried to actually make a difference. At that point, putting on the stat at all is just... why even bother? That's what that is. Yo! Steeljaw, thank you very much for the 10 gifted subs. That's absolutely huge. And that's gone out to Dratch and Hygiene, to Hygienia, to Riftwind, Ames... was it Ames Sithiora? Something like that. To Scythe, to Meld Enor, to Direwe, to Kuwo, and to Valiance. Steeljaw, thank you very much for the 10 gifted subs there. Much appreciated. And I hope you have yourself a wonderful day. Yeah, bosses being immune to a lot of sonar is just... that sucks. That does suck. This isn't much on the high armor frames either. Correct, yes. Because if we consider this on, say, like, Lavos, first of all, a high armor frame, you're almost always already buffing the armor, like with Lavos, so 25% alongside that is not really much at all. If we just grab the mod so we can visually see the difference here. So... we're at 87.6% damage reduction. We had on this. We're at 88.4. That's just not a lot. So on the 2240 health, I'm going to ignore adaptation a moment. 2240 health. With the reduction from armor as it's written there, we're at 18,000 effective. 18,065. This brings it up to 19,310. So we have gone up by a noticeable chunk. We can now take about 1,250 more damage. But it's 1,250 prior to the damage reduction. It's really not actually that much. We haven't increased our health by all that much overall. Not even 10%. And if you have a damage reduction in a PvE game of not even 10%, and it's taken up one of your 8 slots to work with, that's a very, 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 very big ask. Very big. It's the first time you've heard your username pronounced correctly without your intervention? My god, that is a rarity on this channel. That is a rarity. I usually butcher so many of them, so you're welcome. Somehow. I'm more enjoyable without the ads? Oh, thank you, Steeljaw. I'm glad I'm more enjoyable than adverts, at the very least. Oh dear. The name's pronounced exactly how it looks. I mean, some people could go like, oh, let's see, is that Riftwind or Riftwind? I can see how people can mess it up. Yeah. So that even amounts to a blue shard's worth of armor. It's really not a lot, no. 25% is just nothing. It's really, really bad. But we got 15% strength on a depolarity. Now that is usable. Like I say, it gets us to this point on Equinox. We no longer need the invis for it, so we got a little bit more consistent. But yeah, it's scaling it up to actually matter. Now let's see, what else can we do with this? This drain is that already at the minimum? Yes, it is. That's already at minimum drain, so we can't improve on that. Our range is pretty damn good. It would take killing something else to get that further, so we're not going to. Yeah, not certain what we could do in that point. Not at all certain. I'm glancing at the arcanes here, but I doubt I'm going to find anything of particular interest or note, we've already hit the key breakpoints. It's more a case of... I think armored enemies are just the bad place to go for it. If I'm quite honest. I think it's just the armored ones that are doing us in. Yeah. Okay. With that in mind then, as there's basically nothing here of concern whatsoever, no. I suppose I could go for the Steadfast for just some discounts on casting. That's pretty much it. Okay, let's run this against the Corpus then. Corpus are not armored, so we've got some room for it to work. Corpus do have nullifiers, which then just makes me sad, but we'll see how it plays out. So let's see, it is this one we want to go for here. Just checking we are on Steel Path, yes, yes. So I've got rid of the need to be invisible just to get the one shot, but invisibility is still helpful. We've got some improved energy economy as a result. We have a little bit more armor, not that it should ever be relevant. I'm going to cast that as well, why not? Just... yeah. Alright, I vanish. The one shot does work on these lot as well, that is good to know. Can Torrid Incarnate be considered a DOT weapon? I mean, if you apply a DOT effect to it, sure, why not? Ooh, that invis took a moment to happen. Okay, well, that did a bunch of damage in an AoE, pretty niftily there. This guy did not get properly affected earlier. Yeah, okay, so Smite smote those. Turns out when armor is not in the way, Smite be smitting. Yeah, wow, okay. That's doing a lot more damage than I'm expecting, actually. Is that just me? Like, I know these lot have double damage received, but that seemed more than double. Pause. Radial damage 20% of target's hit points. And I'm not consistently targeting the strongest ones, I'm just targeting whoever I damn well please. This is giving damage vulnerability on them of 104%, so that 20 is becoming 40-something%. Am I just coincidentally targeting the strongest units in the group so far? Because there was some weird one-shots there I didn't even need to maim. Yeah. Well, means we can just roll into the next group and see how well main does here. Let's go ahead and sneeze. Oh yeah, that's the good stuff. That is... oh, I'm visible. Alright, yeah. Slight downside of killing everything nearby. When your invisibility requires there to be something nearby. You kill everything nearby. Wow, okay, yep, they die to the Xmas being targeted. Oh, perish, I guess, yep. That one survived. Okay, maybe the boas are just... shit. Honestly, maybe their hit points are just that bad. If I do this, bam. Yeah, I think the boas just have no hit points. I've been overestimating them this entire time. Hey guys! Sneeze. Anything important you missed? Yeah, we called out the winning lottery numbers, so everyone who is here is going to win the lottery in their respective hometowns. You, however, are not, and I'm not going to repeat them. You miss out. Where's everyone going? Yo! Also, is that a double nullifier? Oh. Oh, I hate everything about that. Oh, I managed to cast through the nullifier bubble to the other side. Well, that's cute. Can I target the drone? No. Use your amp to break bubbles. Honestly, not a bad shout here. Hello! Goodbye! Ooh, let's see if this guy dies in one shot. Where you at, buddy? Almost, almost. Finish him off. Hell yeah. Alright. Please no. Shade. Thank you. Sneeze. Yep, there we are. Okay, so this is far, far better against the Corpus than it is the Grineer. Armor is just that much of an issue, even with Grosser Projection, which granted isn't a lot. Now, Shade is certainly off his cooldowns. We might as well just get to work on the next group. Hi there, bye there. They tried. Unfortunately, I am Equinox. Oh, I didn't activate main. No, what a waste of an Eximus. It's fine, we'll just move the group. Yeah, this is more like the smitey one to use, isn't it? Oops, that guy was not speedified. Let's fix that. There we go. Eximus. Donk. Double tap. Wonderful. There's a bunch of enemies through here. Oh, did you hear that nullifier? Yeah, let's fix that. Sneeze. I mean, how do they have such powerful technology? How does a nullifier even exist, and how can they give it to so many units but not put it on their whole ship? And sneeze. Oh shit, we have a survivor. It's a nullifier. Consider operator. But yeah, this is definitely much more of the results we're looking for, both smite and maim. Uh-oh. Well, there we go. I got rid of both of those. I now have nothing on my main because they disabled my main. That is really rude to have discovered. Ah, well, we'll just recharge. Mission's over. And sneeze. Oh, gods. Woo! How are we going to do so much damage? That's everything you missed, Calamity. Welcome back. No! Oh my god, mid-cast he re-establishes it. I hate Nullify so much. You're making an Equinox video, so this is perfect timing. You might learn some new stuff. Well, okay.
A valuable lesson.
Alrighty, let's have a look then. So, overall, effectiveness was pretty good. Our survivability was very good. Only downside was nullifiers suck ass. Which, yeah, news to 11. Overall, here is our setup. So, getting that extra bit of strength in was absolutely crucial. Is there a better way of doing that? A big part of this is I am using maximum efficiency because I just do not want to run out of energy. Blind Rage is just not an option with this build because of the amount of casting we're doing and also keeping Mend and Maim going. So we need the energy efficiency, we need the energy income, and we need the strength outside of Blind Rage. I think this is about as far as we could do that. We could drop overextended, but we lose so much range for doing so. So much. Like, radius 26, whereas with it, it's 42. No, I cannot honestly say to drop overextended. That is a big part of how this works. So yeah, this does look to be about how we can make it happen. Replace Streamline with Seismic Bond. Seismic Bond is an interesting suggestion at this point in time. Seismic Bond. While channeled ability is active, companion melee attacks create a shockwave. Damage dealt by your companion increase your ability efficiency by 3% for 12 seconds, 10 stacks. No good. Absolutely no good. So we're not wanting to use a melee companion in general, but also we want to be invisible. We don't want to be targeted. If we get targeted, we die. If we're invisible, our companion is invisible. If our companion is invisible, ain't attacking. So the fact that this has the word channeled at the start, and Equinox has a channeled ability, is not good enough. The whole efficiency bit does not come from us channeling an ability. It comes from our companion dealing multiple attacks successfully whilst we're invisible. That's just not happening in a way that's useful to us. So I'm going to take a hard pass on that one. I'm going to take a hard pass on that. What was that new arcane they had showcased coming out? It was... not the name of it, the function of it. There was something gain constant... oh, it's when you create an object. Creating an object would give you continuous... but would give you maxed out energy efficiency. Smite is necessary to the build, which means no subsume, and we've got no object creation. Damn. Well, that's not an option then. Damn. Yeah, this is an Invis Reliant build. We have 0 defense. Sorry, tell a lie. We have 25% armor! Yes! Yeah, we have no defense. Doesn't need to be a beast companion for the efficiency. I know. I didn't say anything about it being a beast companion. We've got Shade, which is a sentinel, which is what I looked at on. I might be coming across a little bit sarcastic here, but I did just make an entire ass point about this, and you seem to be addressing anything other than what I talked about. That's mildly annoying. And by mildly, I mean actually really fucking annoying. So, Seismic Bond requires your companion to deal damage. We're invisible. It's not going to attack. I said melee set implies beast. No, there is a melee sentinel attack you can get as well. Point is, this buffs melee attacks, and then this asks for damage, doesn't say melee damage. I'm relating to the whole thing, whereupon every single bit of it is literally useless to us, whilst invisible. And if we're not invisible, we're dead. So, have I made any bit of that as yet unclear? As to, we require the invis, and that is useless whilst invisible. Oh. Deconstructor Prime can only be equipped on Helios? Correct, yeah. And then we don't get our invis. It's a great idea if we were literally playing a different frame. I guess we already did the 4 new build? Nope. Nope, we started here. I'm fine with people raising points, but you gotta raise points that actually address what's going on. And otherwise, I can't work with it. There's nothing. I just can't. Why do people prefer Shade over Huras? I prefer Shade over Huras. Can't speak for people. I prefer it because Shade doesn't go swanning off into the distance whenever it pleases. There is indeed the thing on Huras. Oh, where's my bloody Huras? There it is. Hello, Irene. You can put onto his... yeah, for the postures. And that is the... God, which one is it? Elusive? The companion will avoid attacking. I mean, let's see how good the companion is at avoiding attacking. And running off and doing just whatever it pleases. We're going to be visible for a moment. Sorry, we're not going to run Equinox for a moment, so I've got tank. Just so we can give it the opportunity to show what it's good for. Last I checked this, the posture mods were very not good at doing what they're supposed to do. Have I thought of health conversion? In what context? Alright, so companion. Yep, there they are. They actually blend in with the surroundings. Well done, Irene. You are very invisible already. Alright. So whilst we're invis, good enough, and it's actually staying with us. Oh my god, the FPS on that. What is that, DE? What is that? Why has my dog become a fucking 5-frame animated PNG? What is this? Okay. Anyway, so I'm visible. Okay, it's not attacking these days. Cool. That is good. The other postures still suck. But yeah, it's... Alright. Yeah, they have improved the AI a bit. It's not just kind of going off completely everywhere and anywhere. That is an improvement, so... Okay. Cuirass is better than it was. Not perfect, but better. The animation FPS at the start, though, was kind of ludicrous. It's better now. I don't know what it was. Now it's smooth. Look at that. Anyway, that's enough of that. Have I thought about using health conversion for more armor to help keep alive? Okay. I'm going to try and address this quickly so that we can move on from that thought. Health conversion works best on a frame which is able to produce, or a setup that's able to produce, a substantial number of health orbs. If you do not produce a substantial number of health orbs, then every time you take that hit, you're going to be losing your armor very shortly thereafter. For a defense that relies upon health orbs for health tanking, you need to invest into making that happen. What about Equinox is going to make that happen? Suggesting one part of a defense when that defense is crucially reliant on other parts, I need to see you working out. And just suggesting it out of the blue on an invis setup does not tell me you're doing that. This is why I'm asking for context, because it's not a suggestion of, oh, what about Arcane Crepuscular, which does work in the context of invis. It's a suggestion of, hey, what if we tank an entirely different way? Ken, please go figure it out. This is why I asked for the context so flippantly. Because you're giving me nothing to work with. And that ain't fun. Alright. So, Cuirass indeed does have the ability to actually not be a liability, so that is good to know. With that in mind, does it actually give us anything else of use to us here? Let's see. Honestly, not sure there is. No. Yeah, no. Health conversion, arcane persistence. Oh god, this is getting worse. Pet mod has 25% chance to drop health orbs of damage. I see now you don't want pet to do any damage. It's not so much I don't want it to do damage. You're invisible, your companion doesn't attack. Cheers. As is easily demonstrated time and time again with companions. Okay. Yeah, I don't see any particular benefit to bringing Cuirass there for this. Yeah. It's getting worse. It's getting worse when you recommend Arcane Persistence on Equinox. That's just... Where's your 500 health per second healing coming from? Why are we jumping through 17 hoops to try and force an Arcane Persistence Equinox when we can be invisible in Shield Gate? It's just the wrong way round. Badger Burger, thank you very much for dropping your sub here. Welcome to the channel proper, and enjoy your lovely blue sub badge and all the other bits that go with that. Cheers. Bluminicana. Cool, you've named 2 things. Oh dear. Right. I think this is about the limit of where it goes, and honestly against Corpus, it was working just fine. Naturally against Corpus, corrosive projection is pointless. So I mean, there's always enemy radar, but at that point, do you really need it? I could say, oh well, you could go mecha set with URS, but nothing Equinox is doing needs the mecha set, so that's no good. And there's not really anything for it. I guess it is just enemy radar, and just you can be aware. I just read URS Invis has no LOS requirement. Alright, let's read where you read that. I will go ask the person you're quoting. So, stalk as written on wiki. When enemy is within blah blah, activation does not require LOS from player or Kubro. And then on Shade, it is called Ghost. Activation does not require line of sight from player or Shade. Okay, so whoever wrote it for one wrote it for the other. Which doesn't quite line up with the experience we had. So that's mildly concerning. Let's go ahead and just walk that into a mission, see if we can see that effect, and if we do see that effect, let's then combine that with, can we see the effect not happen with Shade in the same environment? Welcome back, Logren. Okay, so no line of sight, but there is an enemy above me. They are definitely within 24 meters. What the f- Oh! I was like, why am I doing that? What was that movement? It was a drone. This area apparently has very low FPS on its animations. But yeah, that no line of sight thing, complete fucking bullshit. This was impressively easy to disprove. It is not 24 meters up to the ceiling. That distance there is 20 meters. So the stuff that is right above me, like right there, yeah, no, they're within range. Whoever wrote that either wrote it on a different patch or was just wrong. Boop, there we go, now we're in Viz. As soon as Irene knew they needed to send us in Viz, we went in Viz. That's what it required. Oops, shit, didn't activate that. There we go. Yeah, I messed up originally. I made them more vulnerable to damage without the shrink buff. And so it wasn't in one-shot range. But now it is. Except for that guy, because I didn't put the buff on him. We come over here, we sneeze. Reactivate maim. Oop. Cause a few guys to explode. It happens. TLDR for Weiss Might. I think you've just seen it. But let me demonstrate it again. And again. And again. Does that explain why Smite? You'll notice I'm invisible the entire time, so that's also kind of it. Isn't there a mod that lets your companions attack while invis doesn't break invis? So the only thing I can think of along that line would be Duplex Bond. Duplex Bond will create a visible companion, which will attack when you spend 100 energy, even if you're invisible. This is a problem because it will get enemies to be firing at that ghost companion, and then you're taking stray shots. And stray shots are lethal. So that is a problem. Energy is getting a little bit low here. I might have been dicking around too long. Oh, never mind, energy fixed. Thank you, Energize. Love you. Go on, round this way. Let's fix that. And there is our Steadfast. We do love it. I love this thing, and by love I mean hate. Love this thing where if someone is a returning chatter or has some other logo on them, Twitch doesn't actually scroll the chat feed, so I have to scroll it for it. There we are. Now I can see your message. Does Savage Silence buff Ash's Bladestorm? I believe it does, yes. However, Ash's Bladestorm is already plenty powerful with Wrath and Advance. If anything, more powerful. So I would rather go with that. But yes, it will work if you want to do that instead. Say if you don't have Raffle Advance for Clever available. Alright, sneeze time. Oh, well, sorry, let's get rid of this first. There we are. And now sneeze! Ha 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 ha! Yo, Radish! Thank you very much for dropping your prime here. Welcome into the channel proper, and enjoy your lovely blue sub badge, and all the other bits and pieces that come along with that as well. Let's see. Umbro saying Covert Bond. That's what allowed Calamus. Since it gives invis attacks do not disrupt, I believe his wording. I'll look into that one. It might be that it, the Covert Bond allowing the companion to attack doesn't care how the companion gets the invis, rather than applying a buff with the specific interaction. Could be. Alright. Oh, I didn't have MAME active. What a waste of an Xmas. I am an idiot. Well, we'll move on. Flap you. Flap you. And here. Sneeze. Careful. Get rid of that. Target you with great prejudice. You as well. Ooh, is that a range? Sneeze. Ooh, incoming torment. Okay, this is going to go bad now. Right, so I can't target you with Rest and Rage. I can sap your armor, and then we activate this and we run away. Because hopefully I can just charge up MAME and kill him with that. And it worked earlier. I'm noticing more and more nullifiers. Okay, let's see. Can I kill you with this? 400k? Not enough to kill. Not even close to enough to kill, actually. Nullifiers abound, and I do not like that. Ah, yes, I've got another 400k. I don't think it's enough to kill you, but I'm going to try. Yeah, no, that... Definitely, like, 1.5 to 2 million damage to take him out here. Unfortunately, the Corpus do not have a lot of hit points for me to soak up. Nope, that's an Xmas. I can soak that. Yeah! Okay, that's 2 mil. So long as they're not inside of a nullifier bubble, I can kill them. Got it. And now we get out of here, like the nullifiers never existed. Oh wait, another Xmas unit. I'm going to charge on that. 1.1 million just from that one Xmas. That is charge. That allows me to just go, hey guys! Let's get out of here. Alright, there we are.
And so we learn the importance of...
Yeah, let's give that Covert Bond thing a quick checkerinos, because... maybe a value. If you say you can disable the returning chatter thing, I know I can disable it, but it's actually useful to know if someone is here for the first time, if they are returning, that kind of thing. Just gives you an idea as to what's really going on under the hood. Because I'm terrible with names, especially brand new names. Pepperidge saying, I thought Covert Bond made it so the pet's attack on an enemy does not get interrupted by, let's say, an attack from a melee attack. What? You thought Covert Bond made it where a pet attacking doesn't get interrupted by an attack? I have no idea what you think you're thinking. I'm completely lost. I don't even know where to begin to help you on that one. That's just what? I'm having an aneurysm just trying to process those words. I've worded that weirdly. I don't even know what you're trying to word. It's not even weirdly worded. I can read Zomglish just fine. This isn't a matter of wording. I need the context. I need the pieces. Alright, Finisher Mercies, grant your companion some other stuff. So we're not doing the Finishers and Mercies. Do we still get companion can attack? That is the question. I'm going to make it where Eurus is allowed to attack again. Actually, first, I suppose I should test... Let's test this on Shade. We'll know certain if it works or not there. We'll know for certain. So, it was... Covert Bond. I do also need to give Shade Assault Mode to verify this work, and we don't need Guardian right now. There we go. Right, so with that in play, whilst we're invis, will it attack? That's the question. I believe it won't. And if it doesn't, then it goes back to, oh, you need to use Covert Bond for Covert Bond, and that's no good. That's a completely different playstyle. But let's see if this works. So then, the next time someone suggests it to me in 5 minutes' time, I can get arsey with them as well. Because apparently that's what I do. Why are the enemies spawning like 500 meters from the start? Whatever. Okay, so invis? Invis. Yeah, these are alerted enemies. A visible companion would attack. Watch. So, Covert Bond allows it to attack? My ass. If we meet the criteria, sure, but that's not the point. Let's see, can I just kind of go, wah! Ground finisher. Wow, that... Yep, that got me killed. Yeah, so, shit idea. You've seen Kubros run up to attack an enemy, and it was stopped by a separate enemy's attack. You thought Covert Bond would prevent that from happening. No. Ellie, that middle clause is unnecessary, just FYI. Alright. So yeah, that just doesn't work. Not the way that there were suggestions of it working, it just doesn't. Yeah, this is a big part of the issue with the whole finishers thing, because how many frames, how many setups are getting, what is it, 10 seconds on it? Where'd I put the mod? I put it down, I immediately lost it. There it is. Yeah, 10 seconds of stealth on your companion. Oh, but you can stack it up to 60 seconds. Okay, cool, yeah. So I still need to get a bunch of Finisher and Mercy kills to have an invisible companion. Which, if I'm visible, isn't really achieving a lot. If I'm invisible, I probably don't want my companion alerting the entire world to my existence. It's never been great. Never been great. So yeah, hard pass on that. Okay. But I think it takes away from your survivability? I'd say it does, yeah. It's going to make noise. If it makes noise, that's going to alert enemies to me. If they're alerted, I can't get finishers on them, because even soft alert means you can't perform a finisher. Never mind that I'm invisible, stood behind an enemy, cluelessly looking north, and I'm south, going, stab. That doesn't allow you to do a finisher. Yeah. Pet survivability? Oh dear. Pepperidge. I'm just going to ask you to think the context of that one through. Not just invis makes it survivable. the full context. I'm going to leave you with that one. So, overall, I think this is as far as this particular one is going to go. The difference between Shade and Hurass is honestly a big fat nothing, and if anything, I just prefer Sentinels in general anyway. We can put Guardian back on there. Guardian is the thing that the Beasts don't have, so we got the on the cooldown, gain your shields back if they break, so it's effectively a second shield gate. We got the Medi-Ray for the slight healing, that's not really a big deal. Regen doesn't really matter. Yeah, most of it is just kind of shared across. Yeah. So you can go and use either of them. Wait, that was the point, Alec? Oh my god, wow. Okay. Thank you for deciphering that one. Okay. Anyway, moving on. I don't think there's anything more that can be done with this one outside of just, you know, oh, what if you bring in another weapon for buffing, or use your operator focus core harder, or use your tower and strike, and whilst those are options, they are clumsy. I don't like clumsy buffs. Clumsy buffs make for a awkward playstyle which goes wrong far too easily. This is working enough as is. So the question now is, where else can it be used? We've seen that it works against the Corpus in that Exterminate. Where else can we use it? So, it works against Corpus there. We know it doesn't work against a Grineer. Too much armor. It just blocks the AoE damage from Smite, which slows down our generation of damage for Maim, and it blocks the damage from Maim, so that's just no good. I guess then Scaldra's also going to be bad. Yeah, Scaldra should just be terrible for it. It leaves then the Corrupted are going to be bad for it. Not there, here. Because of their resistance to radiation damage. So we won't be able to get the one-shots with Smite, and the AoE will be weaker as well. It's like fighting into armor. So yeah, it comes down to then Tekrot, Murmur, and Infested. Let's start with the Infested somewhere. In fact, let's do it both on Deimos, one after the other. So with these lot, let's go with... I mean, the Dollar Exterminate, you know, you could be upset at that. Let's slap it on this, see how well it goes, and then we'll pop on over to a Murmur mission, good old Exterminate there as well, see how it feels. I imagine it's going to be absolutely useless in Disruption, but, you know, it's an option. Disruption should absolutely turbo nuke it. Alright, so Strength buff is up, we've got that. Maim should be on now as well. Here we go. Oh, this mission actually has some Grineer in it. Alright, but we're already at 500k, so that's good. I am still... Oh yeah, I one-shot the targeted Grineer because I wiped their armor. It's just not good on the groups of Grineer. Right, yeah. I was wondering why that was working. Yeah, so now we're already at 1 mil. Near enough. So if I sneeze here... Yep, everything but the Grineer die. Brilliant. So long as there's not too many Grineer in this mission, it'll be fine. Jesus, something just got hit for 1 million damage? What the hell did I hit for 1 million damage? This is such a loud set of abilities, my god. Oh, Disruptor is ability resistant. We have found our infested problem. Sneeze? Well, okay, that still works. That still works. If they want to resist the hit point based damage, just hit them with a lot of damage. And now I have a 1 million from the Xmas, so I could probably just sneeze again. Yep, there went everything that wasn't in Grenier. We got another disruptor. Oh, gods! Why did I get hit there? Oh, my shade got obliterated by something. I have no idea what, but I'm screwed. Okay, so we're just going to hide for a moment. Just another 20% on the regen of our companion. Look at him, it's so sad. He's so still. There we are. Okay, cool. But yeah, Ancient Disruptors, definitely Turbo Nuclear setup. I can't reach that guy for targeting. There we go. You have lost your mercy threshold because it's been too long. That's annoying. That worked. Oh hey, Kabats! Yay, got my Kavat codes. Ow! Please, please. Oh god, why am I visible? Oh yeah, because the scanning counts as a weapon. Right, yes. Fucking... God damn it! Can you just kill that thing so you can stop attacking everywhere and just sit still? Thank you. Right then. Where did... I just switched to the scanner. Why was that enough to make me visible? Ah! Shade, please! I'm going to die to a kitty! Hi, don't attack me. I don't think Shade actually considers it a threat. No? Oh, well that's annoying. I'm going to sit here. Scan to you. Got it. Ooh, 4 codes. Nice. Yeah, so that's fun. Alright, let's get near to some stuff. There we go. Once again, I'm invis. We hear all the stuff. Oh, fucking she disruptors. Oh, and it got bashed into me. What is the chance of that? My energy, my shade, my everything. It got smacked into me. Oh no. I'm going to use my operator. Let's get some energy. Oh, that couldn't have gone much worse. Oh boy. Alright, we're just gonna let the energy regen for a moment here. Don't mind me. This isn't cheesing it or anything. This is just sensibility. What is that icon? Ghost. Yeah, so about that game, I don't appear to be very invisible right now. There we go. Is that another... Ah, it's the same disruptor. At least this still works whilst visible, because that was an intentional change to the loadout. There we go. Take out every one of them. Oh god, there's so many Grenier. Why did I pick this mission? Is that another disruptor? No, that's an Xmas unit. Xmas is going to be great for damage purposes. There we go. Let's get rid of the Nox as well. Instantly blap that. Oh, the toxin. Alright, there's a lot of stuff here. Let's make that less. Oh, that was a nice result. Oh, there's an Xmas over here. Hi! I would like the Eczema so I can scoop its innards. I forgot to activate main. I'm an idiot. I would like the new Xmas. 133k. That is so disappointing, and now violence has arrived and violence is going to silence. Ah! My guy. Okay, well, that did almost nothing. Yep, they're being silenced by violence, but violence is not... Ah! Oh, God. Okay, suddenly my invis was not working. Oh, I'm stun locked. Yeah, so that didn't work. I'm not entirely sure how, why everything didn't work, but it didn't work. Whew, okay. You cry for food. Is that what he just said? You cry for food. Okay. Anyway, let's blow up the area. That was not suitably effective blowing up of the area, but okay. So many things break the invis, it's honestly mad. Okay, there's a bunch of stuff here. That worked. Right, okay, so that was,
You are a blade. You exist to strike.
that was not a good mission for it.
The lesson ends.
Ancient disruptors are horrifying to this approach. And like, sure, you can shoot them, but then you lose your invis. Because you've lost your invis, you're now very vulnerable. Because you're now very vulnerable, you're probably just going to die and lose all the setup, and it's all just stupid. So, we got some genetic codes, which also we learn are not eligible for shade bonus. That's fun. But overall, that was not great. If I take this to a mission which is just infested, rather than infested and Grenier, maybe it'll be better. So let's go with... Isn't there just another infested exterminator? Are they all endless missions at this point? Hold on, of course, Eris. Not Hive, because I have to shoot things. Not Rescue, because I don't have to shoot anything. I want a... Ah, there we go. Oh, right then. Buff active. Invis, please. Thank you. Rage. Flap. Sneeze. Oh yeah, that's effective. It also pops all the crates over here, which is nice. Anyway, should probably get into the atmospheric section of this map. Start flapping. We're at 384 already. We don't really need that many kills because they have no armor. Just the extra kills increases the lethal radius. That's a disruptor. Oh my god, that did nearly nothing to it. That was... Ugh, that's bad amount of damage. Let's stun it with maim, go invisible. Good stuff. Grab our loot from down here. Is that another disruptor? No, it's a toxic ancient. Well, it should die then. Nope, it's somehow resisting damage. Why is it resisting the damage? I specifically did the do not resist damage thing.
We Terran always collect our debts.
Okay, we can remove the armor from the Juggernaut, but it does not take a lot of damage. That's bad. I've got a whole bunch of AoE prepared, so I can see if that works. It did not. Bunch of free expas. That's cool. Yeah, we can use those. Oh god, the crossfire. Alright, 4 mil damage. Nice. So... Death? No. Juggernaut does not handle that. Okay. I was hoping that my first shots did better than that. Ah! Why am I knocked over? Nothing hit me. Cool. Latent works. Latent works. Let's reactivate this, go invis, and yeah. Bonk. Invis is immediately expired. Not what I like to see. That's also horrible. Like, just kindly cease to exist, please, and thank you. Good news is that main charges up whether I kill them with smite or not, so that's fine. Just nuke the brood mother. Roll into the middle of all this, and sneeze. Cool, what survived? It's a disruptor. Why did I even ask? Why did I even ask? Hi. Oh, that's an Xmas. Hello. That was a lot of damage off of that Xmas. 5.6 stores. That should kill pretty much everything. Yep. The Kentoneer used sneeze. It was very effective. And mission complete. Oh yeah. So, aside from Ancients are a problem, which... How are you resisting this? Do you just have 50% damage reduction? Hold on, maybe it's something about the target itself? No, no. I think Toxic Ancients just straight up have 50% damage reduction. Oh, I think I know what it is. Smite slams down on them. Maybe the slam hits the back of them, which they have a 50% damage reduction on their back. I think that might be the case. Sneeze. And we shoot you. Yeah, that worked. Alright. So, it is 85% effective against the infested. 85%. They have 50% damage reduction on the back? I believe so, yes. The crown, as it were. Let's verify this in sim real quick.
You are a true hunter. Where would the sanctuary be?
The single target portion at the back too? Maybe. Like I say, we can verify this real quick. Here's the thing with how abilities hit. The visual indication is only an indication. The game is perilously bad at telling us the truth as what's happening. So yeah, this is going to be one of those. Let's make sure Shade is not equipped to attack, is it? I can leave it on. Yeah, it's not equipped to attacks, that's fine. Okay, let's bring out a nice regular testing weapon, which will be Tenora Prime. There is a reason I was using this with the Banshee stuff, and that's because with just Point Strike equipped, we get a very standard, simple 280 damage on 100% crit with whatever your crit multiplier is. Very, 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 very easy to check. So let's grab us a couple Ancients. So we'll grab an Ancient Disruptor, and we'll grab a Toxic Ancient. Just those will do. So, if we go for the leg shot, 1250, 1250, 1250. Nice and consistent. In the back, 625. I mean, that couldn't be a more conclusive result, could it? Do the same here, 625 versus 1250. You can see what's going on. If we go for the head, bam, 7498. That's the sheer amount of difference on headshot versus crown shot. Also, when they do an animation and dodge out of the way, they take 0 damage. Yeah, 7498 down to merely 625 there. Now, Elliot say, I think you have to check this, you're going to knock it down on its back. Honestly, that might work for us. So, let's do this. That was a lot of damage. 181311, but it's going to come down as it takes stuff from that. What if I get rid of you first? I think you might be relevant right now. If I... Oh, that's not going to be... Well, just do that anyway and see. Yeah, no, not close enough. So... It's not the disruptor giving it that resistance. It is just resisting on itself. So, let's get rid of the disruptor. Get a new Toxic Ancient. Just as is, if I do this, 182k. Cool. And then, what if I do... 182k. Okay, no change. No change. Yeah, not sure on what's going on there. It shows a resistance to Toxin. And I know I'm not hitting it with Toxin, so I guess they just... I have an idea. I have an idea. Let's see. So this has 430 DPS. Exactly half. I think they're just resistant to abilities, but not as much. Actually, let's go with Lavo. Lavo on the attack there. This is Toxin damage. That's no good for a test because they're resistant to Toxin. So yeah, we'll go with the Ash one after all, like I was thinking. 1800 per dagger. Survey says... What the fuck even was that? Okay, that's a lot. Why did it do like... Yeah, what? Oh, wait. Did they add a thing where it gains extra damage after a distance? Oh, is it headshotting? Oh. These can headshot? And wait, it's doing 6 times damage though. Or is it just... Oh. Is it aiming for the back, but because it's a projectile, it's traveling and hitting the head, so it's dealing 3 times damage versus half damage. Not 6 times, 3 versus half, which functionally is 6 times. Is that what's happening? I think I can test that. What we have to do is we get right here, right up close, and then hit stuff over there. And then 1800. Yeah. So here I'm forcing it to hit the feet because it's trying to get there, but momentum carries it into the body first. And yeah, we see as some of them actually still manage to hit the back piece. So the ability is attempting to target the strong spot. And it's only because of projectile travel vectors, travel paths, that we're aiming to, or actually able to get a different damage result. This is so stupid. What the fuck? What the fuck? Why is the target of abilities the strong spot on it? DE. Yo. No, that's just not okay. There is no universe in which that should be happening. Yeah, you could see the way they are actively curving in on that. What the f... Just tracking, not discriminating between strong spots and weak spots? I mean... What do you think? Based on what you're seeing right now, Lemon Thunder. You heard abilities go for center of mass? The thing is that enemies aren't measured in any kind of mass. This unit has no weight to it. Or rather, it doesn't have a weight distribution. If it has any kind of weight, which will be relevant for some abilities in terms of knockdown effects and whatnot, but as far as it has a weight, it's not anywhere on it. You're jesting? Well, here's the problem with jesting. It looks like someone who believes it. I can't hear your joking tone. I can't see your sarcasm. You need to put the marks there, otherwise it looks like you believe it. Especially when you say you heard ability to go for center of mass. That's exactly what I'm addressing, is it's not even going to center of mass. Never mind the joke about the crown. I didn't even get that far, it's already just disproving the center of mass thing. Thought the smile implied it? Yeah, it implies the joke on the maybe the crown is very dense, but not the first sentence. If the joke is maybe the crown is very dense, one has to assume that the setup is taking normality and turning it into a joke, not making two jokes in one enabling the other. Look, I'm autistic. There's only so much I can work with here. Help me out. Gods above. Yeah, main takeaway. Ability attempts to target the rear of the target. Now. Oh, mods. We have a request for you. Wiki mentions center mass on at least one ability. Yeah, the wiki can mention things all it damn well pleases. We've already verified today that the wiki is incorrect. So, 1720 base damage on effect. Resistant to toxin. Let's find out how resistant. 344. Oh boy, that is resistant. Okay. Yeah, that'll do it. And what if I hit it with this ability, with the heat added on? 2924. Woo! Who the fuck is using /S to mean serious? As in the end of seriousness. Slash and stuff comes from basically HTML speak, or HTML coding, putting a tag on something and then a close tag. So you could put within a tag brackets B to start the bold of text and then /B to end the bold. People did away with the what would you call them? The greater than and less than symbols that are used as brackets. People did away with that and just brought it down to / whatever to mean the end of that being used. /S being the end of sarcasm. If someone's using /S to mean serious, they're ignoring basically the entirety of internet culture in that communication regard. And I get that S isn't communicating what it's communicating, but neither is LOL. People know what LOL is. Now. There we are. Mythic and LA, they know their HTML tags. Yeah. The other thing with slashes, though, is that sometimes people can use it to mean the beginning of something, and that's come from commands. So, like, /W, the Kengineer would be attempting to whisper the Kengineer. And that's where things start to get really confusing, because, like, oh, /? Is that the end of a question or the beginning of a command? And once again, we get to communicating is difficult and confusing, and, yikes. It's no longer /S equals serious? Oh god. See, I don't even know if you're saying that honestly or jokingly. I genuinely don't know. I genuinely don't know. And I hate everything about that. Yeah. The fact that the HTML speaker referencing might be older than some viewers. Might. We got 134 people here. Stats are not in our favor on beating the allegations old here. Well, jokes taken too seriously. So I've been told my entire life. You know what I have found on assessing so many of these situations where I'm made out to be the bad guy for not understanding people's jokes when they make them? You know what I found? as a common thread through all of that history, people are bad at making jokes. That's what it comes down to. Oh, I was just having a joke, man. You don't need to take it so serious. Literally no one is laughing. Get better. Being funny is hard? Yes. Yes, it is. As is learning to play an instrument. And if someone came blundering into my life, slamming on a violin, hoping to make a noise that didn't sound like a cat dying, they couldn't get upset at me for going, wow, that sounds like shit, can you stop? So yeah, that ain't on me. Cheers, Guabo. Yeah, I say also enjoy watching people realize in real time their joke was in poor taste. Or just their attempt at humor was saying bad thing or saying wrong thing and going, isn't it funny? You just said we should kick puppies. How is that funny? Oh, no, as a joke. Walk me through this. They don't like that. I'm the bad one for not getting it's a joke. Ugh. When I say all this as someone who was born and raised in Britain, now you know the difficulties one has faced. Ugh. I've got a 0 energy bar again on Lavos. Yay. Right, let's get out of here. Now we've verified that, one, Smite is attempting to hit the same spot that most of her abilities, if not all of her abilities, are attempted to hit on Ancients. Which, 2, happens to be the bit where they take literally half damage by default. 3, Ancient Disruptors take that a step further and go, lol, what is ability damage? And 4... yeah, that's all of it, really. No, 4, Ash can accidentally headshot as a result. Go figure. Go bloody figure. Oh, don't even get me started with prank streamers. Or just prank people in general who go for pranks, where the prank is, haha, I inconvenienced you and made you scared. What? No? Clarence is saying, honestly, it reminded me a ton of the In-Betweeners. Their deadpan non-jokes are actually funny, but if I try that stuff and get blank stares and questioned. So part of delivery isn't just the delivering of the joke, it is the circumstance it is put into. Part of that is, on a show, certainly a show where you're expecting there to be some deadpan humour, the delivery of the deadpan humour makes it. Whereas you step just slightly out of that, and it's like someone playing an instrument and going slightly flat on half the notes. I don't know why we've gone for a flute now, but anyway. If you are just slightly off in music, you create a sound that is discordant and nail scraping on chalkboard levels of bad. And it's only slightly out. And the same is true when it comes to a lot of deadpan humour. That if you don't thread the needle, you look just like an idiot. If someone is not given the context to appreciate what is happening, then you just look like an idiot. You get the kinds of questions that are asked by, say, Philomena Kunk, but just by some rando in Twitch chat, and everyone's going to turn around and go, are you okay? Did you hit your head on every single step on the way here? Yeah. Context is a huge part of pretty much any kind of humor, and certainly if you're going for humor whereupon the joke is what you haven't said rather than what you are saying, oh boy, you are praying that everyone is on the same page as you. Absolutely well and truly praying. And that's a big prayer. You gotta be damn sure what you're doing for that one. A lot of people aren't. So yeah. No, if anyone, just rounding off on the prank side of things, let's see this a little bit more on that. Pranks are supposed to be funny. Not just to an outside audience of sadists. They're supposed to be funny for those involved in it. Even if the humor of it will take a moment to occur, it's supposed to be funny. So pranks are supposed to be, at most, mildly inconveniencing, and often work better when the joke is on the pranker, not the prankee. At the very least, the impact of it should be very recoverable, not psychological trauma-inducing. So, a prank where you log into your Minecraft world and all the villagers have had their noises turned from normal villager sounds to the sound of someone weirdly grunting over their microphone because it's your friend who made those noises and now you're hitting them back with their own sounds. That's funny. That's a harmless little prank. It's disruptive, but it's not disruptive in a way that hurts them. And so long as that person is not entirely self-conscious about the sounds they're making, then good. If, however, your prank is you logged into your Minecraft world, standing on a pressure plate, everything blew up. Lol jokes. Get therapy. Yeah. Dry humor is some of the hardest to get to understand. It is, yeah. Because again, the humor is not in what is being said, but rather what isn't being said. And even communicating it, like spelling it out, it can just make you sound like you're insane. Right, I've done everything I want to do with this in terms of building it. We've got one last faction to try it against we feel it may be good with, and that is indeed the Tech Rot. We know the Infested can be a bit of a problem. We know that the Corpus Nullifiers can be a bit of a problem. We know that the Grineer Armor is always a problem. And by extension, we can just say the Skull Drama is going to be a problem. We know that the Void's going to be a problem. We don't even need to go there to find out. It's just going to be a problem. So this has some serious weaknesses. Serious weaknesses, but yeah. That invis is actually not to our benefit, but it gets us started right now, I guess. Ow! Why the explosions? Why? Ow! Alright, so we're visible at the moment because the invis from the bike run out, and Shade has a delay on re-invisibling. That's a word. Stop it with hitting me with things! Hold on, are these guys resistant to radiation? No. What have I done wrong? They're not resistant to radiation. Okay, that one died. Oh my god, why? Why would you do that to me? Actually, yeah, how are they still targeting me? What the fuck? I'm invisible. I just realized I was being shot at with toxin. What the fuck? Okay, invis has been restored. Let's go over this way. We got our strength buff. We hit that. That one died. Good. Okay, that's working. That's Xmas. We need to do it this way around, and then that died. What was going on earlier? You? Scuzzies are resistant. Do you have the whole targeted where you... Oh, it's hitting the... It's like on a mower. It's hitting the mower camera, isn't it? So Scuzzies are resistant. That's concerning.
Scourge your supply cache in the area. You get near, it will start ticking. Self-destruct. Need to be quick to get the goods.
Yeah, I'm going to pop out this mission and test the Scuzzies there. Actually, do I have the Scuzzies? Oh, they scanned. I'm certain I do, but... Dodge all that. Oh, I don't. Oh, shit. Bro! Alright, there we go. Running! I can't switch to day form to night form to put them to sleep. Everything about this is horrible. There we go.
Supply cache flipped into
I couldn't care less about your supply cache, mate.
A few fervon charges should pop it. But know this. Open that thing and the tech rot will get riled up crazy.
Yeah, I'm going to need to come back here with Dante. Let's scan these proper. I'm going to need the scan so I can test these. Let's just do that. Then I can go into the sim and actually test this stuff. Alright, let's just quickly go ahead and get some scannage doing. Just verify we're on the efficient build. We're going to need that. There we go. Helios? How old school? Alright then. We go tank, tank, full tank, 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 double full tank, and start scanning shit. Oh, I can tell I've not got a fire rate boosting companion on at the moment. Gods, how do I do this without a fire rate boosting companion normally? Ugh. It feels so bad. Blast him with Urple? Hell yeah. Blast. Hold on. This one needs a stab.
Self-destruct. Need to be quick to get the goods.
Only the best fire rate.
Supply cache flipped into self-destruct.
Yeah, let's go grab that supply cache.
Fewer fervon charges should pop it.
Where are the charges?
Open that thing and the tech rot will get riled up crazy.
At least I can go invisible whilst looking. That's spare on the tank a little bit. Where they are? There's going to be one over here. There it is. Yoink. Invis ran out because it does that. Also, Dante running. It's cursed. And where is the other charge going to be? I don't actually know. Is there going to be one in here? Probably not. Nope. Hey guys, don't mind me coming through. I hate this part of exterminate. Because if you don't do it, you actively impede your ability to complete the mission in a nice manner. But doing it just takes all this time jumping around, hoping to find where the goddamn charges are all hidden at. I think there might be one up this way. No, I've got this one. It is up here? This way? Yeah, it's over this way, the other charge, right? There it is. Oh. And because there's a timer on it, you can't just lay about and eventually get to it. So if it spawns like 400 meters away, or worse, you just gotta run for it. Not my favorite design. Alright, back to shooting. Now, most, if not all of the buffs are timed out. Yep, let's get back to shooties. I don't understand why both outside and underground is specifically just one cache for each. Covers the half the map. Design. I do like to sing DE's praises, but I will also criticize DE. This is one of those where I criticize them. It's an interesting idea, the caches. Having a secondary objective that could spawn half a kilometer ahead of you on a 2-minute timer in these awkward circumstances where you then also need to find 2 or more rather well hidden things until you learn the exact spawn points. Don't vibe with it. Wouldn't have been my design. Does the 234 extra Noctua scan as well? I have no idea, not going to find out. Not focused on that today. I just want to get these scans in so we can get back to Equinox testing. I don't know if I'm even hearing scans being successful anymore, so we might be nearly there. Hi, Angst. Come on. Perish. Thank you. Well, at least we killed a bunch of tech rot for the calendar. That's a thing. Bonk. Okay, it just it just sank into the ground to dodge my attack and appeared off to the right. That's a new strategy. I've not seen that one before now, but all right. Tekrot used dig. These little miasmites keep on taking up the goddamn UI. You're not my target. Go away. Oh. We're buffs. Reaching through all of this and obsolete. I have no idea what an obsolete is. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, you can't be using that kind of tech these days. It's obsolete, you know. That's all I get from that. That's all an obsolete is to me. Oh. Last time I've used dancing without a fiery buff. Cheers, Kelpin. Dodge the miasmite, shoot the X-Men, stab it in the face.
Over and out, fam.
Kill 10 enemies with finishers, huzzah. Wait, what was that a challenge for? Oh, was that a Nightwave Daily? Hey. Yep, it was a Nightwave. Alright, cool. Yeah, the Obsolete looked like an ancient, but what kind of ancient? What ancient effect did it have? What ancient effect, seeing as we are way back in time here as well? Fuck that one in particular. Alright. Hopefully that got a whole bunch of scans in. Hopefully we can actually use some more of the bits and pieces down in the sim now. Let's go have a look if that was good enough. So we want to grab good old Equinox again. I'll be honest, at this point I've actually oh right, the damage on Scuzzies as a result of their shape, does it impact our ability to deal damage to them? That's what we're doing. Yeah.
The multitude of creatures you have immortalized would cry out in thanks.
All right. So, it's good. SKU. Right, that's why it won't pop up. Okie dokie. So, if we just kind of go slam. Okay. Activate strength buff. Activate damage buff. Yeah, we're definitely not one-shotting it. Okay, so what's going on here? What is going on with you? We're going to need a new one because buffs are in the way. So, shot there, 1139. Yep, shot there. 6430. Ah, okay. Ah, yeah, speakers, more damage, right? Yeah. Speakers, more damage. But is there a reduction at the back here? So we got on the leg, 1139, on here, 570. See that? And it's such a combination of body parts here, but at the back we've got a reduced damage. And so if we do the Ash test again, we fire from here. 1200s aplenty. We fire from here. 600s. And from the side, we can see it is curving towards the strong spot. Yeah. Ash could fire any direction he wants. I'm aiming to not do that, and we're seeing it happen anyway. That's... Oh, so it's not just Ancients, but also Scuzzies. Where the game actively tries to target the bit where we do the least damage. Why? Just why? I'm reporting that as a bug. I don't care how deep into other design intentions or consistencies they may claim it is. First of all, consistency, Warframe. No. So, there's something wrong there. Goomba saying this didn't exist before 1999 update. I'm not sure I can concur with that in one way or another, but hey, I can't roll back time a few years to verify. We know Scuzzy didn't exist before the 99 update, but that's... Sure. But yeah, now this is definitely a clear-cut case of we get less damage because game said so. That sucks. That really sucks. Oh boy. Alright. At this point, I'm going to need a notepad. I'm not going to keep track of all this like in my head. I'm going to memorize like 80% of it, and 80% is not good enough. So, let me start noting all this down. Equinox, Smite Maim setup. It is... Was it? Yeah, 200% strength for 100% damage vuln, so that 50% smite cap becomes 100% a one-shot. Armor is bad for it. Ancient disruptors are super bad for it. Ancients in general get targeted on crown, 50% damage dealt. All abilities suffer this. Projectiles curve to it. Brackets can headshot if head is in the way. Same issue on Scuzzies. Smite will target their back for 50% damage. knockdown, because we tested that on the Ancients, knockdown has no effect nor improvement. What else? Corpus are very vulnerable to the strategy, which is good. Xmas cannot be raged until Overguard broken. Needs to be a smite, rage, smite combo. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Kavats on Deimos do not count as hostile for Shade, Huras Invis. The Shade, Huras Invis requires LOS to Companion. Despite wiki claim. I'm not updated wiki claim just yet because I don't have full information on that, but we know at the very least it's not as simple as the wiki says. Saying Ash got a research Tech Encore, which allowed Shuriken to home properly as opposed to just having slight aim adjustments. It's likely existed since then. Well, aiming, sure, but where they aim for, it's still a matter of the specific enemy. So going from a soft curving in the general direction of the enemy to aiming for the ability spot, like her abilities already go for, there's still the matter of the enemies just had that issue. For as long as I can remember, it's always been that the crowns of Ancients resisted half of damage just straight up. But it's news to me that abilities are actively aiming for those strong spots. That's just stupid. What else have we got on this? There's a whole Crepuscular to hit 200% is a bad idea, as broken invis means you lose ability to kill properly for a while. Further to that, must cast all strength buff from provoke before casting either smite or rage. Otherwise, rage in particular will be applied for the duration with improper buff, which he calls no one shot. Bad juju. Yes, in my actual notes I'm putting bad juju. Really helps to keep the levity of it. So, yeah. Strength, 200% strength needed to hit the 100% damage of all, which hits the doubling of 50% smite cap to 100% damage to give us a one-shot. Crepuscular is a bad idea for it. Must cast Provoke before casting the others. Armor is just bad. Ancient Disruptors are bad. Ancients in general are bad. And going into details as to why. Scuzzies are also bad. Knockdown doesn't improve things. Corpus are great until nullifiers. Surprise to no one. Xmas can't be raged until the Overguard is broken, so you need to do a 1-2-1 combo to take them out, but it does give it a lot of damage. I should note that. Xmas are amazing hit point sources for main. Acolytes are vulnerable to smite armor removal, but not smite damage. A good couple million on MAME fixes that. There we go. Kavats and Deimos don't count as hostile for Shade Huras Invis, and the Shade Huras Invis requires LOS from enemy to companion, despite wiki claim otherwise. Oh yeah, Covert Bond does not enable Companion to attack during Shade/Huras Invis. Need to actually activate the mod for that via a finisher, which would break the Invis anyway. because finisher is an attack. And I think that now covers everything we've gone over. Quite a few bits and pieces we tested there all in one. Quite a few bits and pieces. Oh yeah, one last thing. Smite Equinox fucks up the all caps fucks up the treasurers. Yay for no more damage attenuation. Woo! Alright then. Is there the office? Well, that's what we've been doing. I try to keep these streams both accessible but also informative because, let's face it, if all we did every single time was just relic fishes and take questions, I'd get tired of that, let alone you lot. You're the ones who have to watch it. I try not to do that all that much, and rather give us a good mix of interesting bits. Also, wow, what are these shards, Nash? Alright, yeah, just a few. Just a few there, Ken. Alright, chill. Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely reporting this as a bug, though. The whole MAME... Not MAME... Well, maybe MAME as well. Maybe MAME as well? Hold up, that's a question I haven't answered yet. MAME as well? Questions, answers, let's find out.
You are a true hunter. Where would the sanctuary be without
This is going to be a little bit awkward to test accurately, but I'm going to do my best. That's what I'm wondering. Does it target the same ability point? Does it suffer the same circumstances? Is it treated consistently or inconsistently? And, well, I mean, it's Warframe. Use Terrify instead of Smite. So Terrify is great for armor stripping, which means that you're going to hit more consistent main nukes, especially as Terrify is an AoE around you, so it's great for that. The reason this is using Smite instead of Terrify is because Terrify, you remove the armor and then you shoot the enemies. Here we're using an ability to kill the enemies, so we want Smite to stay invis. That's all of what's going on there, really. Instrumental rock? Yeah, we'll put that in the background instead now. So, yeah, let's grab the Scuzzy. This is a great place to start. And whilst we do that, let's actually also put in some other kind of tech rot. A tech rot... Let's go with an Obsolite as well, actually. Tech rot Obsolite and a tech rot Galliflex. Let's go with that mix of them. They're all paused. No attacks, no nothing going on here. So... Bam. Oh yeah, that took half. 255, 255, 127. The Scuzzy is resisting half the damage. Also, interestingly, the Obsolite did not. So the Obsolite does not have a damage bonus or debuff. Over here. So where is it hitting? I mean, it's obviously just not hitting some weird spot. It's just going torso. Something like that. Do you even have a torso? What qualifies as a torso on you? But yeah, that is very consistently observable right there. Okie dokie. Does that body part DR also apply to Overguard on applicable enemies? That's a very, very good question. Hold on. Ancient... Toxic Ancient Xmas. Yes. Yes, it does. Ellie, I don't think the CRT weak point is cancelling out. It literally just has a different shape, because that is where the crown would be. And you can see it's not cancelled out. That is a big old damage buff there. So, no basis. Nope. It would be very unusual to code something to have both a damage buff and damage reduction on the same spot through independent mechanics. There's no reason to make things that complicated when they can just have a model, and models' parts have stats applied to them. It would be very weird to have up to overlapping, contradicting parts like that. Right, so with these enemies like this then, we know how a lot of this is interacting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill the Gallifex, because we know this one has the right interaction, and this one has the wrong one. I'll activate MAME again. So we see 255, 255, 127, 127. Let's get rid of you to put some power into MAME. And then let's see the damage numbers. It's not quite equidistant. Let's try and get equidistant here. That should do, between these two. Okay, so shields are a problem for seeing what's happening. Those numbers did not even slightly try to split, and that is more than a little bit problematic. I'll be quite honest with you, that was not helpful. So I'm going to go back to the recording on that. Where would it be? There it be. Let's open that up. Can you stop screeching in my ear? Just waiting for that to open. Takes a moment to load for some reason. Oh, shut up. Alright, got it loaded. Let me just check before I bring it up on screen. Let me show you. What the fuck? Moments prior, so I go to activate it, we've got 152k on the damage number ready to hit. 152k. But to break this down, first of all, the Obsolite, which was proving so far to have been a control, is well within the radius we have set up here. The radius is dozens of meters, so that shouldn't be applying about 20% damage. So I can't explain that one. We then have over on the middle there, where we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage numbers. Now, I can understand hitting objects, that happens. It's part of the issue with this place here. But why am I seeing an 80k in the middle of that? And is that 80k being applied to the thing that was definitely taking half damage earlier? In which case, well, that would be more than the total damage being applied, so it's not taking half here. And then, the cream of the crop on the right-hand side, we have 61k damage to shields. But underneath that, this might be a bit hard to see if you're on a smaller screen. Underneath that is what looks like 446k with a crit! Now, there are multiple problems with that, not least of which, this ability doesn't crit. MAME doesn't crit. It is an ability hit. A non-critical ability hit, it's just damage. So why is it showing as a crit? Where is a crit multiplier coming from? How are we dealing 3 times the stored damage after already having hits for a bunch on the shields? We see, moments prior, 152k is stored. So if something is at point blank, it'll take 152k slash damage. And this stupid UI is like, oh yeah, sure, let me just stack these numbers together. This is the smart way of showing this information. There is no better way this game can come up with to show this information. But we can still definitely see, at least, when it shrinks away, that the first digit is definitely a 4 on that yellow hit. The rest of the digits are hiding, but we can figure out it's 4, 4, 6, 5, 3, 1. This UI. out of curiosity, what do I have my damage option set to? Damage numbers set to show how... Where the frick fraction extract did I put it? I mean, I know it's custom, but what's the thing that says where they go? Wasn't it the whole cloud thing? Did they just get rid of that entirely? Above custom, click it. So there's custom. Above it, damage number, view damage number options. It's just cycling me here. It's just bringing me back to the same stuff. I must be blind. Wait. Show damage numbers enhanced. What is enhanced? Moves numbers further away from the reticle. It sure as hell didn't move them away from each other. Alright. That's what it was all along. Enhanced. It's not enhanced. It's useless. That is, if that's enhanced, whatever. I'm mad. I'm mad, and I think it's understandably mad that I'm trying to look at what's happening in my game, and the game is actively hiding the information behind itself. Like, whatever. Maybe it forces crit on hit. Maybe what forces the crit on the hit? What, where, and how? I'll be quite honest. Like, yeah, we're seeing yellow number. Yeah, it's probably some kind of crit, but since when does MAME crit? Is there something on the wiki that I am unaware of about MAME? Maybe MAME had an update in the last 17 years that I missed. Nope, that is the MAME mod. I want the MAME ability. Night form, no, we want day form, emits damage, blah blah blah. Upon deactivation, deals damage as in that, yep. Control F crit. Well, you probably heard that. There's nothing. It doesn't crit when the ability hits it in a vulnerable spot. So that's the weird bit, Physicus. That is the really weird bit. They were receiving half damage. Does popping a screen create a yellow number on Scuzzy? It's not even targeting a screen. It shouldn't have done anything of the sort. I am thoroughly lost on this one. Hold on, let's get back another just thing. Galliflex. Alright, you've got your shields back, but whatever. So we activate this, we see half damage on that versus what we saw on this and that. And then we send this to the Shadow Realm to get our charge. And yeah, again, shields are getting a hit, and then another thing gets hit underneath it, and this time it wasn't yellow. Reactivate this. Take that out. What this time I'm going to do is actually hit this first to get rid of the shields. Okay, it's burning. I didn't intend for it to burn, but at least we'll get rid of the shields, maybe. Close enough. 100k. What even the hell is happening here? Why is it so inconsistent? So, the first time this happened... Tiny damage numbers are tiny, unfortunately. Maybe I should have told them to be bigger. So I'm seeing a... Ah, there we go. a 61k, and a 37k. Versus the 125 over here and the 98 followed by 36 over here. So that's looking like there's no damage reduction from hit placement. It's only damage reduction over distance. I'm wondering if... First of all, can we just get away from that thing again? It's so goddamn loud. Even from here, we can still hear it. So... New theory, whilst normal abilities, like for example using Smite or using the activation of main, hit the hit spot of a target, wherever it's been predetermined, judging by how we're getting these interactions, judging by the lines of effect here, I'm going to go so far as to say that decasting main is actually targeting in a line, I'd like to say a straight line, but I'm looking at these things and wondering, but it's targeting in a line to the target. So this is... So it's targeted those spots, and I guess because I was stood where I was stood, it just decided to target through a speaker, and a speaker amplified the damage into a crit and gave it some crit modifier from I don't even know where to make it deal even more damage than it should have done. Yeah, Ellie, at this point I've stopped looking at those ones. So the goddamn line of effect, if the ability is hitting in two separate ways with a direct line impact, which can therefore hit different damage spots on stuff. Are we still running Corpuscular? No. Oh. We're not, are we? No, Steadfast. So it can't even come from Corpuscular because it's not even there. I just... But this is all very inconsistent. Within the ability itself, within the individual parts, I'm gathering how it's working. We've got the lines from the decast. The lines from the decast ignore terrain, but they do respect the direction of hit, which I guess means we can even set up headshots. Let's see if we can create headshots. Let's go with something stupid on that line. Let's go for a bunch of butchers and test this in two ways. So first way around, we activate this. Bunch of 193s, because of their armor, they're not taking the full amount. We will see that's like next to no damage, so it's a rounding error in what's going on here. We immediately split that guy in half, my god. And then if I decast this here, you see it's done a bunch of damage, but none of them outright died. Some of them didn't even take half damage there. That's good. That is good. So, now we do this again. We're going to go wabam. We're going to once again... Come on, stand up. Thank you. Whoop. And then if I go up here, over the top... No one died from that. No one died from that. I did my absolute best to put myself into a headshot landing position. None of them got headshot. Not a single one. Which throws a spanner in the works as to the idea as to what could be happening here. I don't like that. Let's try this again. Oh, I did that wrong. Part of how this works, but it's fine. Makes no sense? Oh, I agree. This is my frustration. Welcome to the C&DE. I bring it up often because they keep on making it happen. Okay, so. Once again, let's try headshots. Anything? No one? Absolutely none of them. Now these guys have got a relatively small head, so maybe we need to try a different kind of test. And for that, I already have a candidate in mind. We are going to grab the Scuzzies back, but this time a whole bloody bunch of them. So with a whole bloody bunch of Scuzzies, we're going to, again, open up into that. We see a whole sea of 127s, because there's no damage fall off over distance from the activation of aim. And then we're going to just kind of go, pop, 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 goodbye. And then if I just reactivate this on the group, we've got 306k. Some of them die. This one over here took more damage than this one. Some of them die, just line of effect going through their goddamn speakers. I beg of you. I beg of you. So we once again do the whole blah 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 blah, and then we're just gonna send that one to the Shadow Realm. And now if I go up over here, yeah, we can see, like, no one's dead. Not a single one of them. So weird. Okay. Just gonna murder the one in front of me, I don't care. This one's also been wounded. Need to bear that in mind. How many others wounded? Just this one here, so we'll bear that in mind. We go up. Actually, go slightly to the rear here. And yeah. Nothing died. Not even the one that was wounded. Nothing died there. The damage on some of these is so low, you'd wonder if I even did anything. So it is showing some concern, or some consideration for where the line points to on them. It's not just a visual effect, it is actually a description as to where we're hitting. So if I stand behind all of these, what do we get now? Yeah, that's not a lot of damage at all. That is not a lot of damage at all. This one took a lot more damage than this one. Look at that difference in damage there. Because the line of effect is now hitting the body rather than the back. All of the others, the angle is pointing at the back, but this one is just enough off axis that it aimed at body. Damn. So stupid. Okay, now there's a suggestion as to lumbering fragments. Let's bring those out. That is indeed a valid test. So, once again, activation effect. We do see a whole sea of 255s. That is as expected. God, they move around so much. Hardly lumbering. There we go. Right, so, standing test. They all survive. They take a bunch of damage. We see they're pretty much knocked down to the mercy threshold when they're up close. The one's a little bit further away, down to about half. But it's pretty consistent. I'm seeing no variation outside of the range. That's good. Okay. Why am I making myself invisible? It's my companion doing that. It has no effect on the ability damage. Don't worry about it. So. Let's follow this up then with another test. This time, just take you out of the field. Come on. Oh, didn't mean to hit the other one. My god, those hitboxes. There we go. You know what? You're annoying me. You can die as well. Actually, no, you can't die as well. You're going to die anyway, but it's going to mess up the damage because now it's going to be too much. Watch this. Now. See, too much damage. Okay, so just this one. Yeah, dance. Okay, cool. So, gonna jump over the top of them. Alright then, do we see any interesting bits? Nothing died once again, so we're not seeing any kind of headshot procs from that. These guys do have a relatively small headshot hit, as demonstrated with Banshee, but yeah, nothing weird with these ones. Okay. There was the Toxic Ancients. I haven't actually tried with that for the downcast yet. So on the upcast, they're taking only 191. There you go. Stood in front of them. Some of them died. In fact, many of them would have almost entirely died. That shouldn't happen. Oh my god, they are so loud. That shouldn't have happened. By all logic of the ability, but I mean, we saw what happened. If I do this again, I have an idea as to how this can look really stupid. Yeah, this is headshots. This is, yeah. That's what we're proving. We're going to take those out. The audio is not broken. I turned it off because these guys are far too goddamn loud. But now, if I stand here... Don't try to eat me. If I stand here, watch this. What? Hang on. Wait, that's not the expected result. That's not the expected result. Huh? Well, that's not directional at all. That was just radius. You pretty much draw a circle as to where it was lethal out to. Right. It's not headshotting at all. They're vulnerable to slash damage. But they're only vulnerable to slash damage. They'd still have the whole, we deal 50% to them with the initial cast, but then there's just other stuff's going on, so... Hang on. Hold on. Yeah, you've got those such bloody stupid damnable thing. Why are Scuzzies like this? Why? Okay, so... The infested are both strong and weak to this. As you can tell, I'm angry. Oh my god. This is just so many layers of problems. Some of it is intended, some of it is logical, some of it is just getting downright stupid. And then, obviously, we do this. We got you and you and you. Oh, this is gonna be terrible. Alright. We activate one of these. We're gonna kill just one of you. You are the chosen one. Oops. That AoE had a bunch of other stuff, but it's fine. And... I mean, the Parasitic Xmas here, this one got absolutely fucked up. I don't even know how. The Venomous Xmas, yeah, there's a few of them which got royally screwed. And then others, like this Frozen Xmas, they're just... Sup. Yeah. This one didn't even move its server guard. So yeah, I think it's Disruptors protecting themselves there. And, the others just suffering what they suffer. Interdasting. At the very least, it makes it clear to me that the whole smite targeting is not the same as the main decast targeting. This is the big thing we could take away from this. Abilities, non-targeted abilities, have different targeting despite being non-targeted. And targeted abilities can share the targeting of non-targeted abilities, but because non-targeted abilities have different methods of targeting, you're not even sure which method of targeting the targeting abilities is going to target. This stream brought to you by Target. Shop. Did you just not update a frame because they're scared of looking at the code for it? Because, like, I get it. But you're just passing the paint on to me, and I don't like that. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them to be deciding to just dodge some things on that account. You know, things like galvanized aptitude situation, targeting of abilities, retouches on Equinox and Banshee. And so when I put out a video covering stuff like that, myself or any others, but including myself, that might just lead to their officers going, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, don't talk about it, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. I started with the question there as to why are Scuzzies not taking so much damage. I've come away with so many more questions that it actually hurts. Or that might be the meal I had. Not sure. What's up with Galvanized Aptitude? What isn't up with Galvanized Aptitude? My god! I mean, do we address the bit where its damage bonus applies in two separate ways for types of direct damage, or that direct damage is a poor way of describing the way it handles other types of damage? Do we address how it interacts either additively or multiplicatively with other damage mods? Do we address how it doesn't actually scale its bonus consistently depending on the weapon you're using, where it may draw upon a damage base or is separate to what other damage mods are using, so that scaling isn't even additive or multiplicative but some other iterative entirely? How about the description on it is actually rather unclear, such that if you are encountering the mod for the first time, reading the mod does not explain the mod. There are something like half a dozen different ways you can interpret the writing on the mod. Only one of them is sometimes correct. Yeah. Galvanized Aptitude and the other Galvanized damage mods, so that's what, Galvanized Savvy and Galvanized Shot? I think? Yeah, it's all over the place. It is just all over the place. My favorite example of this is the Latron Incarnate. Truly, truly one of all interactions of all time. You'll notice I don't even have it on here. That's how much it annoys me. So, Galvanized Aptitude. Plus 40% direct damage per status type affecting target for 20 seconds. Stacks up to 2 times. With the normal mode of the Latron Incarnate, so just Latron, you shoot it, it is a bullet go burr, hits target, it hits instantly because it is hit scan. And the Galvanized Aptitude bonus here is additive to the damage bonus you get from Primary Deadhead, or from Serration, those kinds of things. But then you activate the Incarnate form and it gets this bouncing radial bomb-da-bomb-da thing. It looks beautiful. It's gorgeous. Bounces off walls, explodes everywhere it goes. Great stuff. If you hit an enemy directly with it, this is now a projectile traveling towards the enemy rather than a hit scan that just hits the enemy. And as a result of that, but not consistently, it just happens to be the case most of the time, the direct damage bonus is no longer plus 40%. It is a 40% bonus to some other calculation in the stat, I guess. So it becomes multiplicative with Deadhead. If your damage total is figured out with Deadhead, this increases it to 1.4 or 1.8 if it's 2 stacks, or however many stacks you've got, rather than adding to the bonus. But in the very same moment that you are hitting them directly, it also explodes, and the radial explosion does not get any damage bonus from this mod whatsoever. So I might sound like a little bit of a raving lunatic here, but this is just how frustrated with it I am. This same mod on the same weapon, firing in the same mission, will apply additively, multiplicatively, and just not at all. And yes, Mac, it also doesn't pick up Incarnate base damage increases. Correct. There is a maintained, but I'm not sure if it's perfectly accurate, but there is a maintained spreadsheet going around the community the sheet, as it is sometimes referred to, which helps people track the damage bonuses provided by Galvanized Aptitude and his cousins. And it includes such stonkers on there, such as instead of a 40% damage bonus, sometimes it applies a 80% damage bonus, or a 13% damage bonus. Why? That's the answer we got from DE. So yeah. Galvanized Aptitude is a crazy mod, and if you ever hear a veteran of Warframe complaining about it, this is why. It is stupid. It is all over the place. Yeah, and every single rule someone can give you, unless that rule is specific to a single attack of the weapon, every single rule that you can write up for the mod has yet another exception somewhere else. So long as there are two things left under your rule, something's going to disagree with something. So yeah. Is this why your natural was being weird? Honestly, I don't even know. I don't even know what weird you encountered. For all I know, you encountered another version of the Tekrot Scuzzy. I'll be honest with you, there are so many things in this game that can get in the way of understanding that it is amazing I still have any sanity at all. Any sanity at all. So it's kind of how it is though, because D can't really fix it because it's been that way for a long time. Community will be upset if they were fixed. I get where you're coming from on that. There are definitely segments of the community who enjoy just having the multiplicative bonus, so they get more damage than the mod would suggest. But at the same time, like, they could extend that to all of the weapons. Just make it multiplicative. They created an exception that it doesn't apply to radial damage. The crazy bit is that if I recall my history correctly on this one, when they first implemented the mods, they implemented them with that exception to not apply to radial damage, but they just didn't tell anyone. They just didn't say it. It didn't even have the word direct for the damage on the mod. It just didn't apply. And only by testing did the community find that and go, oh, is this how it's supposed to work? This is a bug? And they came out and said, no, it's not a bug, that's how it's supposed to work. We'll add the word direct on there. I think the history of that is visible in an older Carius video of mine. So yeah. They could absolutely find a solution. They could go ahead and find a code fix. I don't know how long it would take. I don't know what hoops they'd need to jump through. I don't know the state of the codebase underlying the damage that leads to these issues. God knows it must be something insane because of the number of issues that come about from it. But it is kind of wild that it's still just kind of there. That rather than changing it to something more consistent, they leave it as is, even though the clearly designed intent isn't fully working and it creates so much confusion. And the longer it is left there, the more people are going to get cozy with it or just take it as gospel. We're well past the point where it's now just a plastered wound of an issue. And the main reason it's not addressed is because, well, quite frankly, it doesn't break the game leaving it as it is. So it can just stay over there. It's like seeing that there is a small pile of cat shit at the back of your garden, but it's pissing it down with rain. Yeah, you probably should get rid of the small pile of feces left by some wandering pet, but at the same time, it's raining and you don't want to get wet. You'll just leave it there. Whew. Boy oh boy. Testing Warframe really tests me, doesn't it? Oh god, Equinox, why? I've only gone through one build on you today. How even? I didn't think I was going to run into this many questions and concerns and curiosities and God's evens. It's been one build. The others just still kind of work as they work. You know, sleep is still sleep, thankfully. You just walk up to a thing and you cast sleep and it falls asleep and... Good job. Move on, I guess. Standard build. Let's have a look at the standard build. The standard build is an old build. The world has changed a lot. This has Ensnare on here. I mean, it's a control ability. It's a nice control ability. I think I must have just put it on because Equinox's survivability in day form is honestly a bit crap. And so I was like, oh, I need something that can keep Equinox alive. And Ensnare fit the bill back then, I guess. God, that's going back a bit then. I think the answer now would probably be Evade. Yeah, just straight up go invisible. Job done. If switching wasn't 25 energy... Yeah, I've got the efficiency to bring it down, but at base 25 energy. If switching wasn't a base 25 energy, and took time, and the buffs decay over the time, which is wild, there'll be more reason to switch to night mode, put things to sleep, switch to day mode, then go through the main process. But because Equinox has that awkward tax on utilizing the other form, it makes it so clunky to get through. It really does. So yeah, I'd probably, as a standard approach, like just an all-rounder, probably just suggest go into an evade build. That said, I would need to find a way to bring up the duration more. It'd probably take off Aegis and redirection and adaptation to get there. There's room. Let's do that. Start just doing that. That can go here, that can go there. There's not a V polarity for duration other than continuity, is there? Easy way to find out. Search like that. Continuity again. Nope, 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 nope. Okay, we'll come back to that then. Other duration bits, you've got Constitution, which is a dash. We've got, let's see, is that a duration? That's a 15%. 15% is so bad. Like, it's a duration buff, but I don't really want that one. 24% is nearly double for a lower drain. And then the other one is narrow-minded, but I don't want to put narrow-minded. It's Equinox. You don't narrow-mind Equinox. I suppose we could. The range is still 214. Let's see, 38 versus 50. It's losing 12 meters on that. Not to mention it then also shrinks the damage curve. Can duality shoot with invisibility turned on? That's an interesting thought. That is definitely an interesting thought. With this, we can also go for concentration, and concentration can help us get a little bit more duration out of bits and pieces. I'd still say that trying to get that augment in, the energy transfer, is just largely desirable. That's doing nothing, so okay, whatever, it'll just sit. Yeah, that is largely desirable because then switching forms doesn't lose your ability to main. So if we do that, we could have Evade on there, you camp in night form normally, which means you'd be able to apply Sleepage to enemies as well, which kind of defeats the point of having Invis, but at the same time, Invis is fun. Doubling down on your ways of surviving, it certainly would work quite nicely against Xmas. Because they're slept, it's also easy to hit the headshots, which would maintain Evade. And then when you want to switch to a nuke, you just switch forms, bang, and switch back out again. With the high efficiency, meaning that switching is as cheap as it can be, and MAME is as cheap as it can be, at 0.88 drain per second. I think that's probably going to be as good as we can get for a quote-unquote standard approach. I know a lot of people look at high efficiency builds and go, energy income, blah, blah. No. No, certainly for a drain-based ability set, and Equinox is heavy on the casting, high efficiency is honestly great. I've always been a fan of high efficiency approaches where they don't have to give up on some kind of breakpoint to get there. So, let's see. We've got Ensnare. Is it on any other setup? No. Good. Alright, evade. Gotta feed. Hold up a moment. You can have some Agristone. You can have some nav coordinates. You can have some Tycor plate. That's all good stuff. And here, have some bile sacks. We've got a bunch of those going around. Pulsating tubercles. Ugh. Well, I've got all this, but you can certainly have it, Mighty. And down here, we got something interesting down here. Tipa nodules. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Jobs are good. Alright. Sure, yeah. Infusing. Pacify and Provoke. Pacify is a damage reduction, but we're evading anyway. Provoke. The strength is nice, but, well, we're evading. It's not going to be that big of a deal. Strength doesn't really help maim all that much. It certainly doesn't help rest. The buffs on Metamorphosis kind of suck, but we need the swapping, so yeah. It's safe to replace that for the standard approach. Eliu confirming Duality Spectre is visible and attacks, even if Equinox is herself cloaked by shade. Interesting. Very interesting. Alrighty. So that gives us an evade. It's got a base duration of only 13 seconds here. So you'd want to cast something first to then get the duration benefit for from Arcane Concentration. And that'll buff up the duration by quite a chunk. 60% increase on the base of 10 seconds. Yeah, that'll bring it up to 18.9 base duration. So yeah, that is kind of a big deal there. Because the cooldown otherwise of 60 seconds, there's no modding around that. That's a chunk to deal with. The health per kill goes down because of our strength, and honestly, that's not a concern. We don't need or want strength here, so... Or health for that matter. So both of them are unimportant. Now, max duration on this being 19.35 seconds, that's rough. That is rough, yeah. So if you aren't getting pretty frequent headshot kills, this could be painful. And certainly with the maim effects of causing enemies to writhe in agony. Okay. You're saying Spectre seems to be doing full damage to disruptors. That is interesting. Okay, so it's considered a weapon damage, not ability damage. Curious. Thank you for testing that. Right. I think in terms of a generic get started go-to starting point, probably don't want enemy radar on this. Corrosive projection is just nice to have in general. Swap as you need, really, but yeah, we have that there. This gives us our overall approach. I don't think any of the Arkham mods are going to be even remotely valuable to us here, so I'm just not going to think about that any further. You know, this looks what we can expect it to be. Okay, well, let's just give that a whirl, shall we? We've got Burst and Prime. Burst and Prime is always fun. Shade is not the one we want right now. Let's switch to Worm, set it to the no-shooty build. And on what it's shooting, I want to be the one doing the shoot. So let's go roll with this. Let's go up against the Grenier, because they seem to be particularly resistant to maim. Let's see how that plays out. Last mission, last run of the stream here, shall we? Alright, so Invis, activate that. Maybe a little bit more shooting than I should have done for the first one. Gonna need to get a few of those headshot kills in and quickly to get this back. Fairly certain I said that you should use some ability before evade, and I just did evade first there, didn't I? Oh, yeah, that's gonna run out, and is on still a 25-second cooldown. Ooh, that's gonna suck. So let's cast this. Get that up. Let's put you to sleep. Honestly, with access to duality and sleeping, I don't think we actually really need the... Oh dear, that was ineffective. I don't think we actually really need the evade. I'm changing my mind on that. That worked. That worked. Hey! What the hell did I put to sleep then? It looked like the ability just went straight past him. No, 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 no alarms. And sneeze! Oh shit, I was still on night mode. Ah! Mistakes were made! No! Oh, that's painful. That is painful. I just spent hundreds of thousands of damage to heal myself to full. Whilst at full. So painful. Oh, that's an Xmas. Hi, mate. I need to switch form, which takes a while. Then I can do that. Then I can do this. Then I can... that into that and finally put him to sleep. Oh boy. And I need a heal. There we go. Yeah, maybe that's what the evade is for. Thanks for bringing me to you, I guess.
Subject found. Significant trauma.
Go to sleep so I can stab you. Hmm. Yeah, you know what? I may not be sold on a evade as the answer here. That mode switching takes far too long. That mode switching really takes far too long. And I think I have some casting speed shards on her. Because this spamming of rest, I mean, that honestly feels like cheating in comparison. Holy shit, you're still alive. Don't know why we're being so weird about that, but okay. There we go, now we kill him. Whoa, okay, that's an Xmas. Switch mode. Nuke. Switch mode. Sleep. Actually, we could just stab. Oh, that is awkward. That is such an awkward set of actions. With such an amount of casting time to make it all happen. We have an incoming Acolyte. I do have not much damage charged up. That was the wrong button. I wanted to sleep him, not switch into a day in front of him. Can I cast, please? Can I not affect this one? Hi, Malice. Please don't hurt me. I'm actively trying to get ready for your arrival. No, nope, still, please stop. I'm gonna go invisible. You are not allowed to shoot me. I'm invisible. Why is there an Xmas unit? I am visible now. Ah! Is this going to be enough damage to kill you? Let's find out. And blah! Shit. He's alive. Can't put him to sleep. Dodge. Dip. Dodge. Dive. Dodge. Stuff. I need a break. Yeah. Okay, let's shoot things. Well, good thing my operator can kill shit. Oh, no, didn't need to switch form there. They have woken up. Let's unwake them up. Yes. Okay. Everyone's asleep, please. Thank you. There's an Xmas over there. I don't like that they are held in place, but the moment you hit them, they decide they're no longer held in place. Oh. It's painful to watch? Well, thank you. Sleepies. Oh, gods. Oh, nope. I was still set to day mode. I thought I was on night mode. Oh, I'm not going to kill that entire... Oh, there's the headshot. Woo! Yeah, aiming for the head is a little bit difficult there. What build is that on the Burston? Use the Warframe Master overlay, or do you exclamation mark Burston and go watch my Burston guide? I can't bring it up during the mission, sorry. Exclamation mark Burston. Right, I am on day mode. It was trying to hide behind my shoulder there, but I am definitely on day mode. So, switch, night mode. Takes a while, then it switches, then I can put things to sleep, then we can start stabbing things, and oh my god, he immediately woke up from that. Bro, just fucking die. Die. I was in, so Equinox just so clunky. Okay, alright. Thank you for the clarification. Alright then, I didn't even have my 4-axe this entire time, so all of that damage was just wasted. Ow. I'm not even sure what shot me there. There we go. 500k is not enough to do much damage. This guy is an Xmas unit. We're now at 1.6 mil. Let's head on over here, switch forms, and blah. There we go. We had saved up enough damage to do actually some lethal damage. Switch forms, switch on. A little bit trigger happy there, mate. You didn't get me. When you can get the damage build up, it actually looks like it's pretty cool. Yeah. I guess the other thing is that whilst in night mode, I could be using Pacify if I hadn't subsumed it off for Evade, which will be slowing enemies down. So, yeah, I think my subsume is hurting me here. That was indeed a poor choice. Doesn't make any Equinox any less clumsy, just poor choice. Oh, you would survive on one hit point, you absolute cretin. Sure. Sure. Miralabe, was the new video to your satisfaction? Was it everything you were hoping for? Oh, that worked. Oh yes. Good. Oh, didn't mean to switch forms. I am already on the night form. Damn it. There we go. Oh, look. Misery has arrived. I can assure you, you're already here. Alright, go invisible. Cannot be affected by that. The other thing it summoned can be, so that works for me. What the fuck was that? Suicide Jutsu? Okay. It says open to finishers. I would like to perform the finisher. I am pressing the finisher button. Please finish. Well, if this isn't reminiscent of my love life, can't finish and just get up and go away. Alright, I'm gonna leave the mission now. Out we go.
Your will was greater. This is good.
That was, yeah. Alright then. Let's say that evade was in fact not the choice for that. Actual crazy set of students. Welcome in there, Clark. Hope you're doing well today. Hope you're doing well. So you think Equinox is bad is the title of the stream, and certainly putting that on did not help anything, at least not with that weapon approach. You know me better. But was I telling the truth or was I being dramatic? You may never know. All jokes aside, there was that one guy who was actually so genuinely terrible in bed, I did get up partway through and just left. Not gonna lie, that was honestly just diabolically bad. But hey, anyway. Welcome on in. Yeah, there was no rescuing that one. None. Evade was not the way there. Actually still in the sea? Oh, you know. We have the interesting bits. Spill some more? Wow. Give him an inch. They asked for 7. That's not right. That is not right. Equinox, what have you done to me? This is... Right. So, this build worked. For a certain definition of worked. Clark, actually, yeah, bounce this one off you real quickly. Do you happen to know where an enemy is targeted by MAME? Just out of curiosity, do you know where MAME targets an enemy? I have to drink to sip ominously at this. This is assuming that my previous message did not just scare Clark off there. You know. Incoming outbreak. Oh no! Can't even snooze it! Why are all the snoozes gone? Genuinely not off the top of my head, not gonna lie, assumed body. That's what I'd assume as well. So, fun fact. MAME hits the enemies in 2 different ways, depending on if you are starting MAME or ending MAME. Upon starting MAME, it'll aim for what I can only describe as the default hit point, or hit spot on enemies. This default hit spot is also used by Smite. It is also aimed for, though not necessarily hit by, As's Shuriken. It is also used by Banshee's Soundquake. And what is interesting about this is that on things like a Grenadier Butcher or Trooper, it is indeed the centre of their body. It is their torso. But if you are targeting a Scuzzy, a Tekrot Scuzzy, or if you are targeting a Ancient, then for some reason the default spot to be hit is their back. And their back has a 50% damage reduction on it. You hit the crown of an Ancient, you hit the back of a Tekrot Scuzzy, you lose half your damage. And for some reason that's where a bunch of abilities are going. But, and this is really an interesting but, MAME on its decast doesn't go for the same spot. It appears to kind of slightly, but not entirely, direct itself towards the enemies in a straight line. Now what's weird about this is that this doesn't interact with various features. For example, if I jump over the top of enemies, it does not appear to headshot them. And likewise, with those Ancients, when I stand behind them and deactivate MAME, it also again doesn't deal half damage, at least as far as I can tell. But something very weird did happen. Something very weird did happen. And it's not the file I have open at the moment, although this is how far we got to being thrown off by this. Was it this previous one? Yeah, when I stood over here. I want you to understand at this point, you can see that we have an invisible Equinox, but there are no bonuses from being invisible. There are no bonuses from being invisible. I don't even know if you're hearing this at the moment or if you're in an outbreak, but you should be back now. We don't have Arcane Crepuscular or anything like that, so the invisibility has no effect of any note here. I want you to notice that we have, up the top, 152k damage stored. And Equinox deals as slash damage, it decays over distance, it's 152k. That's the absolute limit for point blank hit. So imagine my absolute surprise that Mirrorlade would gift a sub out of the blue there. Thank you very much there, Mirrorlade. Much appreciated. There you are. Clarky won't have to deal with the ads for a whole month. That's definitely a boon. Imagine my surprise when I deactivate MAME here, and like 5 things happen at once of note. First of all, the unit on our left, a Tekra Obsolete, was taking normal damage from the activation of MAME, but on the deactivation, our 150,000 has turned into 32,000. Where has 80% of my damage gone? I can't explain that. Over in the distance, I appear to have hit some objects for a lot of damage, but also this unit here, which is an Ancient. It's a Toxic Ancient. The Toxic Ancient has taken 80,000 damage, which means it's no longer halving the damage received. Excuse me. So it is being targeted in a different spot than the casting of MAME. But the Tekrot Scuzzy is the one that truly breaks me. 150,000 damage, hit its shields for 61k, continued into its health, yellow crit, MAME, yellow crit, and dealt 446,000 more damage, bringing the total damage dealt to over 500,000 from 150k. And that's before even counting how much damage is lost over distance, because it's a fall-off ability. So when I ask you, where does MAME hit? The answer is here. Here. It hits us for critical damage. So thank you very much, DE, for creating whatever this is. I beg of you. This is disgusting in so many ways. Yeah, Equinox is yet another frame capable of dealing emotional damage. Does it even get damage efficacy bonus? Because these numbers legit aren't even adding up. The best I can tell is that somewhere on the Obsolete there is a damage resistance feature to it, and I don't know where or why or how. And over here, the damage resistance that was being applied for hitting the back is no longer being applied, so it's no longer hitting the back because it's different. And the Scuzzy, I don't even know. Mirrorlade Basket, is this crit or is it stealth? Only melee has stealth damage. Only melee. And MAME is not melee. We can see on all these others, it's hitting for ability damage, not health damage. Sorry, not weapon damage. Weapon damage that was non-crit will be white. What's that to the left of the bar? So that one there, the 120%, that is 1.2 extra critical damage coming from my companion through Tenacious Bond. But that's not enough to take a 150k to 446k. It's just not enough. The next 60%, that is, I believe, melee exposure. So that's corrosive on our weapon. Next 40%, actually, I don't even remember what that 40% one is. I'll be quite honest with you. Then we've got just about timing out, I think, a multi-shot on the Latum. Oh wait, yeah, the 40% is going to be Innovate on the Latum. So, crit damage, but not enough to create this. Also, it shouldn't even be critting in the first place. Melee, secondary, and the Invis with no buffs behind Invis to make anything happen. Why the multi-shot type of numbers? So the multi-shot you're seeing, the extra hits in the background are objects. The scenery in this goddamn simulacrum takes damage from MAME decast. And you can see the damage drop off over distance. They're further away than the Ancient, so they take less damage. quite a lot less, apparently. I didn't realize they were that far away, but I guess they are. Didn't think they were, but... Or maybe they do have 50% damage reduction as objects. Assuming the Ancient has Overguard applied right now. I can't remember if it had Overguard right in that moment, but in any case... oh, wait, yeah, of course. We came across this earlier, I forgot about it. Yeah, the Ancient has vulnerability to slash damage. So that'll be some of the damage bonus coming back in. Yeah, that'll be a part of it. If the Overguard had been broken, which I can't remember if it had or not at this point. Actually, we can see in the footage, can't we? Yes. This isn't just a screenshot. Aha! Look at the Ancient. Aha! We see Overguard. Full Overguard. I only shoot that thing. I do some talking on stream. I explain what my plan is. I then go in to do the plan. And then that happens. Oh my god, look at the extra damage numbers that pop off in the background there. What the... I hadn't even taken it to that next frame. I was too busy looking at the damage numbers. What is that? Okay. Wait. Then what are those damage numbers on back there? It's the 50s and whatnot objects. Or are they not? I don't even know anymore. And just terrain falls down over me. And yeah, we do see Overguard is still intact. So no, there's not actually a damage bonus on the faction because faction damage bonuses do not apply whilst Overguard is still in effect. Now, so there you are. You and everyone else, please understand, I've done my best to explain Equinox here. It is inexplicable. Or rather, I could start going through the explanations, but I'm starting to sound like some madman pointing at a bunch of string-connected photos on the wall behind them. There are UFO believers looking at what I've talked about here, and they are wondering if I have any sanity left. I wonder. Yeah. What is Equinox? Next live stream title, so you think Equinox is bad? Well... Next video title. How much crit can a ability crit if a crit can't crit the crit? Darth Plague just say, Wiki says the speaker on the Techrock Scuzzy is a critical weak spot. That is related to it, yes. So the angle of attack here has passed through the speakers of the Scuzzy. We did test that further as well. I could kill Scuzzies on a certain line. And likewise, if I was in the wrong position, I could not do enough damage to hurt any, except once it got far enough out of the angle to avoid the back. So Scuzzies do have this weird targeting directionality, which other enemies don't seem to have, or if they do, it's not enough to matter. I really don't know what DE have done with this ability, and the enemy interactions with it. It is genuinely astounding, and the problem is it makes it very difficult for players to rely upon it. An unreliable ability is not a favourable one. But you're absolutely right to spot that, yeah, there is the crit bonus coming from that. Where the crit damage is coming from to cause such a number, though, no explanation. It shouldn't be remotely that close. Can you hit an enemy head if a bullet jump up? I tried that many times on various enemies, including Butchers, Ancients, Lumbering Fragments, all to no effect. Not a single one demonstrated headshot situations. Everything took consistent damage with grounded and bullet jumped results. Genuinely beggars belief. I've spent the last few hours on this. I feel like I know less than when I started. My notepad is full of notes, including please report as bug, because what even? Yeah. I think we should, we need to lighten the mood with a giveaway. We don't usually have a giveaway on a variety day, even though this isn't a variety day and it's not a Friday. Point is, we're going to do a giveaway anyway. I'm going to go ahead and do one of those. So let me set this up correctly so that works. I need to get rid of that thing. And then I need to activate this thing. And stuff. What are we thinking? What would be a suitable giveaway right at this moment? Value Vidacy type moment? What do y'all want? An Equinox giveaway? Why would I subject someone to that? Why would I subject someone to a whole ass base Equinox? Former bundle? Always happy with former? Yeah, we can do a former bundle for you. Why not? Why not? We'll absolutely do a former bundle. Let's get that set up onto here. Let's open up the drawer. Exclamation mark enter in the chat if you'd like to win yourself a former bundle. Not one, but 3 former altogether, which means if indeed you wanted to put one into Sevagoth, and one into Sevagoth Shadow, and one into Sevagoth Claws, congratulations, that's 1 former for Sevagoth. Exclamation mark enter in the chat for a chance to win yourself a complete former bundle right there. You've got until the time hits 0. And then sometime after that I'll hit draw. I tend to be on time, mostly, kind of. Oh. Now, as a reminder, we're streaming today because I will not be live tomorrow. I'm just simply not available tomorrow to do a stream, hence why you lucky lot have got me here today. Isn't it wonderful? You don't miss out on any Warframe or any stream opportunities, and I still get to attend to what needs to be sorted. We'll see how that goes anyway. You all got 1 more minute there. Exclamation mark enter in the chat for a chance to win the former bundle. There are some of you hiding behind my camera there. Don't be what it be. You're there. Cheers, Moon. I do intend to have a good Friday. It'll be fine. As long as public transportation works, anyway. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. It'll all go fine. I will be looking further into Equinox. It is my plan to look further into her and update these builds for 2026, taking into account the amount of weirdness that she has. And, well, there's a bit. There is indeed a bit, isn't there not? Alright, last 10 seconds. If you're not already entered, well, clearly you didn't want to have yourself a set of former. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's draw. Alright then, it's a very simple process. It is very simple. Those of you hitting enter as we do the draw, I'm sorry, you are too late on that. You had to hold 2 minutes to enter. Whole 3 hours of stream to be part of, but it's fine. You could join in on future giveaways. But for those of you sliding in right now, let's see who is our winner going to be. It's not going to be Zom, it's not going to be Queen, it's not going to be Elu. Our winner is, in fact, Mythic Spirit, with what looks like a very fancy Wukong.
Excellent work, Tenno. The extraction point is up ahead.
The Mythic Spirit, congratulations, you are our winner today of the former bundle. Oh, look at that, yep, it's a mod winning it, of course it's rigged. Yep, if ever a mod wins, everyone knows it's rigged. Every single time. But all the same there. GG's, let's get that sorted out for you right away so we don't miss a beat on that. That's going out to Mythic Spirit. There we go. Right. Let's have a ganders there. Mythic. I need to send you the former bundle, not send you a name. You can tell I might be a little teeny tiny bit tight. I'm fucking tired. As if I fucking just did that. Just take it. Just. Oh God. I'm going to wrap up the stream. Thank you all for joining in. I'll see you in the next one. I'm going. Let's end on a high note.
The Kengineer! Oh my god! Wait, are they here? Kengineer.
Nope.